add more. I honestly, if we're gonna kill off selecting danceable characters, at least make art for all the characters
Yeah,
and have it be a
definitely.
customization point for people to choose.
And we can add gotcha to DDR, and then it'll be great.
No, back this shit up. Hold on, wait a
DDR
minute.
generator! Let's go!
Oh, DDR generator! Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Corner Cab. This is our finally, after so long, we are revived. Someone please edit the image of what was it? I think it's Z from Pokemon X and Y holding like a Floette, where it's like it's been 3,000 years since
true.
a Corner Cab episode. I'm joined by my co-hosts Eris,
It's me.
Loserman Wins, or Jack,
No.
and Michiko.
Hey guys.
And of course, I myself am Enemy, otherwise known as my alternate identity, apparently Benemy Shapiro, because we're still gonna go with that for a little bit. But it's been quite a few months since the last Corner Cap episode. Summer is here, the sun is out, the water is fine, and there's lots of rhythm game content that we have to get through. There's been a crap ton that happens. I'm gonna be honest with you all. I think we personally really do live in a different world already within the past 2 months, considering everything that's happened. So obviously we got a lot on the docket. Some of the stuff that we have specifically is kind of like catch up with basically everything that we've been doing. Pretty much rhythm games. There's been some incredible collabs that have happened very much recently. One example being the MEGAREX and Paradigm Reboot collab. A few other things. For example, the release of the new DDR World, the My US location test, which I never thought I would ever say English. I never thought I would say that in the next 5 years. And then of course, pretty much just some other stuff like Rotano 2.0, and then of course the Arcaea Song Contest has begun, and you better know that your boy is participating this year.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah, pretty much a bunch of stuff that's kind of happening. But let's kind of start by catching up with a bit of our hosts. I'll start. I just finished my first year on my job. Now I'm out for the summer. I've got about 2 months of pretty much free time, so I'm dedicating a lot of that to every Thursday. I'm going to try and get these sorry saps together. We're going to try and record a little more. And then I'll be making a lot more music. I've been kind of absent from the scene for a little bit because I've just been trying to survive. And I'm moving into an apartment. So that's kind of what's going on with me. How about Eris next?
All right. As for me, I mean, I'm probably the dustiest and crustiest. So, I mean, I landed a pretty solid career position. It sounds so weird being able to say that. But I ain't gonna go into details. Just know I'm like a ascended IT, and I'm indispensable. Besides that, the real big thing is I have officially committed myself to learning Japanese. So that is something everybody always hears about. I mean, I've got decades of weebery as a skill boost. I've been flying through the material. It's great. It's great. So hopefully that directly pans out with me being with more rhythm game nerds in Japanese. That's something I really want to do. But I'll pass it on to Jack.
Hey guys. In terms of lately, for what I've been playing, well, yeah, I don't know. After like I guess in the last month, like all I've been doing is grinding Voltex and grinding Tekken. That's like all I've been doing. So yeah, I have a foot injury right now, so I can't go to the gym. And I was like, I'll switch my gym routine with Tekken. That's a strategy, because I mean, I haven't like trained.
Because that is definitely equivalent to working out.
It's not the same as working out, but it is training, right? I was like, I want to like work on something, because I play rhythm games like every day, so I don't really need to like allocate more time for that. But like Tekken was like, oh yeah, I'll actually set aside some time and like try to like learn how to play a fighting game, because I haven't done that in like 5 years.
So, probably a little longer.
So I've been grinding Tekken, and I've been working on getting Imperial and Voltex. I'm getting close. I'm a Crimson 4, so I'm like right at the end. But God, grinding Voltex is fucking impossible.
Michi.
Yeah. I think for me recently, like one of the bigger projects that I've been working on was actually the mobile raining game Jeopardy. It took a couple of weeks.
Yes, it was wonderful.
Oh, I saw that. That was great.
I did see that. You looked fly as hell, by the way, in that suit.
Yeah, it also helps that even though most of the things that we have done on the live stream was done at the very last minute, we took the time to craft all the questions. I mean, I don't know how many of you guys have actually watched the Ring Game Jeopardy, but since it is exclusively for mobile, we are planning for a second season. We still
Yeah.
Ooh, you heard it here first, folks.
If you're doing an arcade one, I'm getting in on that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're still thinking about the theme of it because we really don't want to just limit it to like platforms like, oh, we've done mobile first so that everyone can join in. Next is probably arcade or PC, and we have no idea how many people would come. We have to rebalance that a little bit. But also, your boy got two sponsorships over the last 2 months.
Woohoo! Applause, and it's in a round.
Please tell me it's Raid Shadow Legends. Please tell me it's Raid Shadow
It's
Legends.
not Raid Shadow Legends.
Don't let it be BetterHelp.
It's
I
that better
hope it's
not be
not
BetterHelp.
BetterHelp.
Raid Shadow Legends is the end game.
What about that
It's
one with the dudes in Scotland? Is it that guy? Those guys?
We are fucking
Uh,
under attack.
Yeah.
No. I got sponsored by Hexa Hysteria and recently with XD Networks as Rotino.
Ooh, those are very related. Not related. Relevant. Those are very relevant for sponsors. That's awesome.
Yeah, and not to mention, well, I think I could talk more about the Rotino sponsorship on a later episode, but it's safe to say that it's one of the more surreal experiences of emailing with an actual rep from XD Network to get the seller gems. So basically, from the 2.0 update in the game, I got it all for free in exchange for me to do a live stream for it.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Making moves. You going places in the world, Michi. I see you. I see you, brother.
I think I should also add, I did forget to mention a few other things. What is it? Jack talked about getting into um, basically learning a fighting game. I recently reinvigorated my passion back when I was like 10 or 11, and I mentioned this on the pre-stream. I am now back to my motorsport, back to being fully invested in motorsports. And so that's kind of like my extra thing. So for those who are at home, it actually started with a friend of mine in an arcade group that introduced me to Wangan Midnight Maximum Tunes. So if there's anybody watching that plays that, I play that game. And if you ever race, by all means, please let me know when you see me at an arcade. But it started with that, and then eventually it became I got a wheel, and then I got Gran Turismo 7, and now it's been like probably a few weeks, and I have 200 hours on Gran Turismo. It's really bad. Now, that also being said, there's also some other stuff I was doing. For example, I'm participating less in rhythm. I'm still doing rhythm games and everything, but I'm participating, trying to branch out and participate more in EPs. So there's more stuff that's actually on the way. That's just going to be a lot of EP work, as well as I'm also working on trying to do more content with our very own homegrown talent, Komio Mako. Basically doing, I've done a live stream with her. I don't know if you all watched the, I don't know if y'all saw
the trial case.
The trial cases
That
where I
stream was
basically
so cursed.
it was very cursed. But to be fair, actually, what was going through my mind during that entire stream was I was basically like, this is so off script. And there were some moments where I was like, what I just said was very cringe. But there were some moments where I was like, I've created like a bunch of Mako lore and I could ask for nothing more. But I'm looking forward to possibly I'm basically looking forward to making a lot more content, at least with her as well as like just other people in general. But I'm planning on eventually trying to work when I eventually start streaming. I'm gonna wait until I move into my apartment to really get that going. But I want to definitely put more content besides rhythm games. So like I don't know, especially for streams, maybe doing charity streams with like Gran Turismo. There's one particular stream I want to do, which is and maybe Jack could do it with me. Which would be it's a us doing a literal 24-hour Le Mans.
Oh god.
Like, which is possible.
I did want to do back when I got into sim racing in like 2021. I'm not as much into it now. I still have my shit though.
Yeah.
I wanted to do like the 4-hour Nürburgring endurance with somebody on iRacing.
4 hours? That's nothing.
Well, 4 hours is exactly. It's more doable.
No, I would rather do not the Nurburgring, but literally doing a 24-hour on the Le Mans course. I personally think would be very fun to do for charity. But yeah, or just something like that, and then just watching us completely suffer the entire time. Anyway, but that's kind
Gonna
of
say
what's
you
been.
gotta get the streams going because for your sake, making content that has to wait a year to release must suck.
I
I don't
mean,
even mean
that
that
part
in a bad
two.
way. That's to all rhythm game artists. I don't know how y'all do it.
Dog.
I
It's been
know, I
so
know
bad.
how. I know the answer. Like I've like I know the answer is like NDAs, but still, it's like fuck.
There is one. There is only one song that I made in 2019 that I am still waiting. I'm
That's
still.
so long ago. It's 5 years ago.
2019, really?
2019 was
Wow.
19 years ago. What is this?
Oh my
Wait,
god,
wait, 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 wait. I'm sorry. Wait, I'm sorry. It might be 2020 or 2021,
that was
but
actually
still.
25 years ago.
Now,
Good
that's, I
words.
mean, that being said, I'm still going to say it has gotten so bad to the point where actually said client and I have actually negotiated. I literally asked, I was like, can I just remake this? And they're like, yeah, go ahead.
So yeah,
So I think,
streams are streams are a good call because you can release them on your own time.
yeah, it's
Oh, that's
just,
the chariot moment.
I still would not trade this for anything in the world.
Aw.
But I'm, yeah. So anyway, that's kind of, I think we've all kind of caught up. Oh, we have a new member of our team that unfortunately could not make it tonight.
Great first impression. I kid. I kid.
We recently got in contact with a currently growing Twitter celebrity in the rhythm game community who is now kind of going to help us with social media while Mako moves towards focusing on VTubing. She'll still be in the corner cab, but we got someone else that we think is perfect for this position and hopefully will join us for some episodes in the future to be like comedy relief or whatever they want to do. Everybody can please welcome to the team. Freya is a part of our corner cab team now.
That's
Uh,
fanfare.
we personally, I think all of us can agree that this is probably one of our more favorite additions to our team, considering just how freaking hilarious he is.
The world
Um,
shit poster.
World class, not
Mhm.
only world class rhythm game shit poster, while also being the world's #1 Bikuda fan. From Chunism, and it actually works because I'm also a Miku, so it's like that kind of I'm kind of biased. So anyway,
She created a literal cult
no,
and asked people to rename their Twitter names for a day to be with her. And I was so like it wrecked the whole day because I literally don't know who's who.
here's what's gonna be extremely funny in my opinion. I am legitimately worried that when we get to the next Chunism popularity contest for the characters, Mikura is gonna be #1.
If it
I'm
is
not.
if it is an option.
If it isn't, no, every character is an option every
Like
year.
if it's not an option, they're just trying to suppress
Ah.
what the people want.
That's
Oh
true.
yeah, okay. Yeah, yeah.
But I will laugh if it is by a like enormous margin. Like, because she's gonna literally put out a tweet that will say Mikura Gang rise up, and then it's over. Like,
It's over.
congratulations, whatever you think is the most popular character, they're probably getting second place. Like, that's just anyway. So, but we do have a lot more to get through. So let's go ahead and kind of jump into a lot of our main topics. First of all, um, I mean, we kind of talked about rhythm games, rhythm games that we've done, kind of been playing already. But I've recently been playing a lot of Paradigm Reboot. Um,
I played a
it's-
bit. Yep. When I could squeeze it in between my Japanese takes a lot of time. But I am playing Paradigm Reboot because MEGAREX. I'm a huge MEGAREX head. Lapis is my lover. It pulled me in.
yep. The MEGAREX Paradigm Reboot collab has probably been one of the more cooler collabs. As much as I love Hardcore Tennessee collabs, I would love to continue seeing Hardcore Tennessee. I want to see other album like
Yeah, man.
labels kind of jump in. I
Yeah, man.
like Diverse Systems hasn't done anything since like My My. I would like to see them jump into other rhythm games. And then same thing with like MEGAREX. MEGAREX seems to be pretty good. So Poyoshi-san, please collab with more rhythm games. We love it.
I know
So
they did use Dash a while back, so this isn't the first time MEGAREX has really
no, it's
explicitly
not.
had a collab. Yeah, I
And
know
they've
the
done it
Restart
for My
Squad is
My as
good.
well.
Yeah, the My Club's good. So even more, because like you said, Hardcore Tenoshi gets around everywhere. I even love seeing, although this isn't normally we're a lot of weebs here, but Spin Rhythm even has a Monster Cat collab, which I'm just like, everybody knows Monster Cat. Why don't we see more Monster Cat collabs? That would be sick. I don't know, man. I just
Rest in
love
peace,
seeing
Neon FM.
fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
rip
God,
The
in
Monster
like,
Cat
Kuro.
rhythm game.
Yeah, it's but hey, if Hardcore Tenoshi can jump around after Waka's passing, right? Like anybody could do it. So
I really wish that like I think it's one song that I'm surprised really has not gotten some sort of like rhythm game edit because of its popularity in like community rhythm games is like Riot. Right? Or it's Overkill. Sorry. Not Overkill. It's
Oh,
Overkill by Riot.
there we
It's
go. Nailed
okay,
uh
it.
yeah, there-
yeah, my bad. It's actually been a while since I've heard the song, but I was like, that song has been in so many community rhythm games for good reason, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm really surprised that I don't know. It would be nice to see Monster Cat and Spinning Records kind of jump in there. I know
Yes.
Spinning Records had that really short time collaboration with Dance Rush once that came out, but
That was a weird collaboration in
I think
hindsight.
we want more weirdness. Weirdness is cool.
Yeah,
the thing
like a
was
lot of
though,
the
like,
weren't
well,
a
the
lot
thing,
of the songs in that collab like less than 2 minutes long. They were like really short cuts.
yes, what is it? Break Free by Ariana Grande was also in there for a solid.
Yeah, that was because that was in DDR as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I think that's also removed now, by the way.
no, they're all removed. All of them are.
Yeah, rest in peace the US DDR licenses.
Yeah.
At least the
so,
821s.
Yeah. So it's like I wish that 100% that they would do more of that, but it's kind of hard. I understand that probably Spinning Records and Monster Cat is probably extremely expensive compared to a few of these others.
Yeah, it's probably cost with those, isn't it? I would
Most
imagine
likely.
that Hardcore Tennessee is actually probably cheaper than a lot of those because those are connected to like US based music labels, so the licensing
know,
costs are like way
I'm a-
higher.
I bet you like $5. It's not really that the licenses just expired because of the agreement. I'm gonna bet you it's because they couldn't afford it anymore.
Yeah, it
I
probably.
bet you they kept it as long as they could, and then eventually they're like, we can't pay for this anymore.
That's
And then
the
they-
equation with all the licensing, really. With like any like not short term, like temporary licensing, really. It's like when the renewal period comes around, it's like, is it really worth it to renew these? And the answer is usually no. Like,
Yeah.
Pump has been getting rid of like all their K-pop.
Yeah. Well, to be honest,
That's a
if
strong
you want,
word, but
if you want my personal opinion, I think that's a move for the best.
no,
They
K-pop
all
hater
maybe-
detected.
recycle those. They all recycle
hard to
those.
disagree. They will have more K-pop. It's too much of a draw for like general audiences. Also, I like K-pop. I like a lot of things, I guess, but
I think it's fine that they have it
here's
in
the
there.
real
now.
answer.
It's so Cupid and Phoenix. I was like, damn, Pump really out here putting in the modern songs. Like it felt good.
I was
Yeah.
excited when Phoenix was like, "We're just gonna be a Japanese rhythm game now. Here's a
That
bunch
too.
of Japanese rhythm game artists and BMS. Have fun."
World music, wink, wink, because the world
hell
is
yeah.
just
World music
anything non-domestic.
on top.
Yeah.
It was actually a really good effort for
Miss-
them to
call me
just
Mr.
move
Worldwide.
on to world music to more Japanese-made songs.
Yeah.
And the one thing that's weird, they kind of like remove conflict for some reason, and then they announced that they're re-adding that for Phoenix 2024.
Did
Like,
they
I didn't
remove
even
it for a
notice.
short time?
Yeah, they did remove it.
Oh, weird.
Probably because of a licensing issue.
Yeah, that's odd. Because I would
Ow,
imagine that
everyone
that's
has
under that sort
conflict.
of generic. Well, because okay, so I know like a lot of those BMS songs get licensed under the premise that they're like, it's in like a lot of the free games get them. So I would imagine that the like the license on that is like pretty loose, right? It's got to be.
Yeah. Most likely, but
That's got to be like half the reason you see conflict in like every game. It's got to be really easy to get. So that's very
It
interesting.
is
that
really
they
easy to get.
it's interesting that they would lose a
easy
song
to
like
get.
conflict temporarily.
There are games that are actively importing it. Figures.
Personally, I'm like, a lot of people don't. I feel like a lot of people also don't want to. I kind of want conflict to like not be touched for a while because I'm like, it's been so used so many times that I'm like, I want the shine of that song to come back. The luster.
Give me Conflict 2.
What about the remixes? Do you all know about
The remixes
Noma
are good.
remix? The Noma
remixes
remix
are
and because what's it called? Six Stargate has the pair remix of like the Brain Power Conflict that got remixed by each other's composers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I
Nova.
love that. I love seeing that. I feel like I'm not the type to be like things are losing their luster. I could see conflict every day till the cows come home, but I don't mind the idea that could we get some conflict remixes. I
Yeah,
think that
I
would
mean,
go hard.
there's definitely something to be said. Like the conflict in is in every game meme is true, right? Like
I
in a
love that
way,
though.
we have had it forever. But I think, like you said, we could easily get around that by just having like not that I'm saying that making a remix for a game is easy, but I'm saying like that's a way you could keep it fresh,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
It's like, oh,
absolutely.
we got a new version of conflict. I'd be like, okay, all right, I'll
I
check it
come
out.
from like the
Like
old
side
head paranoia remix world where there's a million fan paranoia remixes in the
I
old
like that.
Submania community, right? Like paranoia was that song.
Sidus One I remember did a very good job with like bringing conflict into their game, where they had the entire 8-bit chapter, and then they had an 8-bit
Mhm.
conflict,
Yeah,
and
that's a
then
good idea.
if you do like a if you do like a secret combination, then it's like after a while, and then if you do, I think it's like if you push something secret on the menu, then it changes to regular conflict, because but it was
It's
like
like a
regular conflict
zone
was
you could
hidden.
tap. I played a lot of Cytus. There were like hidden
Yeah.
spots for you to tap on screen, but it was kind of easy to do even by accident if you were tapping around.
No, but I personally think I was like, bring that back. Bring like secret unlockable songs
Yeah.
back. Like
Well,
that's
also, I think
Well,
with
yeah,
Paranoia in
that could.
particular, I think it also helped that in DDR there was also like 5 versions of Paranoia, right? That like
Hmm.
it was like, yeah, this is just
It
kind
set
of
the
the
precedent, yeah.
yeah, right. It's like they kind of made it a thing that they made like a bunch of versions of that song, and then so I think people kind of carried it over. I mean, same thing with the Max series. I guess that was kind of just a
True.
Naoki thing.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Naoki
I
was like,
feel
"Fuck it,
like
let's make a new version of this song." All right, Max 301, let's go.
I
yeah.
love it. I love it. And I just
What
feel
game was
like
that in? I
the
just played whatever game
301
has
is
Max
the
301.
Easy one, I think.
Yes, yes,
Mm,
Izuan has it.
that's
Yeah,
probably why, because
in the
you're
prestige pass.
yeah, yeah.
And I was like, holy shit, it's Max 301. Like that's kind of fun. So yeah, like
Mm,
you could dude, they could like Shiramaru, whoever I think it's Shiramaru, right? Could literally just
and
make
No,
crazy,
dude.
Conflict
both of
2.
them.
And I'd be like, holy shit, Conflict 2. Like,
It's really funny. It's really funny because I remember what was it? One of the funny things was when Tsunagite came in, and we'll talk about that, by the way. That was a really big, that's another big thing that we need to talk about, was we didn't even talk about KOP when it happened. Um when Tsunagite happened, it's like everyone saw Rintaro Soma, and I think the first thing, at least the first thing my arcade said was like Solids 2.
yo, Solibs 2. Exactly.
But
I mean, fuck that M2U song that just came out by what is it? Ina?
Mechanopsis?
Yeah, yeah. People were saying that was basically like an M2U sequel song, just
That
with
was
Ina
that was
doing
me. That
vocals.
was me that was me that
It
posted
wasn't
that
just
tweet.
you. I saw multiple people saying it.
Well, it's like I was specifically going like Mechanopsis is a type of flower, and not to mention I was like,
Yeah.
and the beginning and everything is exactly the same as Magnolia, Metasotis, and everything.
Right,
I
right,
think
yeah.
someone did debunk it though, and I think it was an Ina fan actually did show up on my tweet and basically said Ina mentioned this in the stream. That was purely coincidental. That was not
Ah, I
Ina.
see, I see.
So I was
You
like,
you
damn
can
it.
see though that kind of thing gets people sort of like hyped up, right? I'm not saying people need to start making sequels because song sequels are a little cheesy in a way, but I think
Well,
I like
it's
cheese. I'm a
fun.
simple man.
Yeah, it's
I
fun. Give
think
me
person
Brain
well,
Power too. I'm in.
I think personally for me, it's like with Mechanopsis specifically. I'm also literally Ina is the one VTuber I follow because I'm like
That
that's
song is
actually,
really good.
but it's like Mechanopsis is like a song that I have pride in because it's M2U, who is an artist that I've grown up with, being really inspired
Like,
by.
yeah,
And
yeah.
on top of that, it's like Ina in general is also. I mean, she does. As for whether or not the fan base definitely or does not definitely believes me or not, it's also Nagu, who has also worked on Arcaea. Um, she did the
Breaking the unspoken laws.
yeah, basically. Well,
I
it's
don't. I
not
don't
like
care.
that.
I don't care.
The Ina and the Ina fan base will deny it or not answer me. Except I'm pretty sure everybody knows that that really is her.
No, I know
But
what you mean because I used to be my Coco was my Oshi, and that really meant a lot to me. And yet, completely unrelated, I like Kason. You know what I'm saying? It's like that sometimes.
True. They're both great.
that's very coincidental. Wow, it's like she seems so much
There's
like
a lot
her,
of crossover
and her
there.
voice
A lot
is
of
exact.
crossover. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wow, her
Completely
voice sounds
unrelated,
same. You should ask her to do a Kiryu Coco impression one day.
but it'd be wild.
Just
I bet.
for fun.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
so basically, I personally consider Mechanopsis, at least to me, like a Magnolia Miosotis. Like I consider it a spiritual successor because we haven't had songs like that in a very long time, and I'm like, I'm gonna go ahead into my headcanon and say that that's the sequel. If
I was
M2
also
in
just
fact,
really happy to hear M2U again because MCU
too.
hasn't released music in a long time, and I was like, oh my god, yes.
What do
I
you
mean,
expect
technically
that game
they
is?
have. Yeah, with VVAV one.
WAV1? How do we pronounce this? I think it's just WAV1 or Wave1 maybe. But
They're
it is
making a game, right?
Yeah, no, it's out, buddy. You should play it if you like 6K. I think there's 5K too, but I mostly play 6K.
Yeah.
Can
I was
I
also
make
gonna-
a very can I make a very short tangent?
Yes,
Why
go
is
ahead.
every game a key game?
They're easy to develop. I mean,
I know
did you
that's
see?
why, but like it was more. I just wanted to put that out there. That's all.
No,
That's
you're
all.
right.
I've been talking about this forever. I'm kind of like I remember when I was, and I really don't know if Ordinal's gonna get revived at this point. Eventually, maybe I might do it when I have more time. But it's like with the project that I was working on, where we were basically brainstorming games. They were like, I think the game that's gonna capture everyone's hearts is if we make a simple 5-key game. And I'm like, no, everyone has fucking done that.
Yeah,
We need
also,
to do
They're
something
slightly
different.
different.
Especially now that Easy 2 On and DJ Max are so good and they've been out for so long, it's like, bro, we don't need another 5-key game. We don't need another 4-key game. We don't need another 6-key game.
Too late.
Well,
I
and then
disagree. I
I-
disagree.
Well,
They
well,
are-
well, and then there's
Yeah,
Vivid
yeah,
Hold
yeah.
on. And
Well,
there's
Vivid Stasis at least
Stasis.
has the bumpers going on. There
Well,
is
that's what
some
I'm trying to
innovation.
say.
Exactly.
I'm trying to say that Vivid Stasis has a unique presentation, so it tends to be a golden child, at least in that
Yeah,
area.
I don't
it's
even
not-
I don't lump Vivid Stasis in with like the 4-key specific games. Like it
No,
does its own thing.
Well, I would argue it's more. I would argue it's more of a storyteller game through the medium of a rhythm game. And it's
Well, that
like
too.
I
But
feel
like
like
I'm just talking
Yeah,
gameplay.
so on that regard, I'm kind of on that regard with that game. I'm specifically like that game honestly is an underdog story that I absolutely love.
Oh yeah.
But
That game rules.
but yeah, at this point, I'm like, if you're going to make another key rhythm game, you're now at this point you're kind of behind the 8 ball, or at least it's very
The
hard to
market
get
is
successful.
saturated.
I feel like
Yeah,
you can have a tiny tweak to anything and it should be enough, because there's a new game coming out by a lot of people who are associated in the Korean space. If they're, and of course Jack, now you're very intimate with the Korean rhythm game space.
Yeah,
but
we can
check
talk
out
about that in a
Platinum
minute.
Lab.
I'm up
Yeah.
to date.
Platinum Lab is looking fire, and yeah, it's another K game, and yeah, it's kind of DJ Maxy, but for one, DJ Max is all controller based, so I guess you can go to Easy 2 On if you really want keyboard type charts. But even then, it's got what old DJ Max used to have. Portable 3 used to have sidetracks, and there was like 4.2 and 5.2, and it was essentially like bumpers, even though it was like 4K, but then there was also bumpers. And so Platinum Lab is bringing that back because I'm a DJ Max portable old head, and I miss that, so that's kind of cool. And then there's also Vivid Stasis type wide notes where it like covers multiple lanes and either of the buttons can hit. So it's like, it's stirring the pot a little bit.
Yeah, that's good.
It's
I'm
a similar
with that.
ingredients, but it's doing, rearranging it slightly. So I'm looking at Platinum Lab pretty optimistically, even if it's tiny tweaks.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. Don't get me wrong, I do like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I was also going to, speaking of making things, I was going to shift gears a little bit and basically say, in terms of some of the stuff we've been working on, I know Jack has been working on videos, the usual Jack stuff.
A couple
And then-
videos.
But for me specifically, for a lot of my audience at the very least, I'm going to use this as kind of an advertising stage for a second. I'm working on a little more slower BPM stuff. It was mentioned on stream and kind of like teased a little bit. I am trying to make some background stream stuff for Mako. Not really sure when that's going to be done. And then I think another thing is Cry also put out a Retribution remake or Retribution extended version. Specifically side K. To put everyone to silence. To put this to silence. Yes, I'm making a side N version. When is it going to be released? I don't know. Don't ask me. I am literally swamped.
I would be
Side N
asking
win.
you about it every
Side
day.
N win. Side N win. Let me hear it in the comments below. Side N win.
Side win. But it will happen. I plan to have it much more on the fast-paced side. There are some things I think with the composition that I want to kind of fuck around with that I had in the original idea before the song was edited and everything that I want to kind of put into the extended version.
Finally,
speaking of-
Retribution over the horizon.
Sounds like a
Make sure you
like
do the
a
mathematical symbol inside
Cry
N.
made
That's my only
the
request.
Afterworld version. Now you're making over the horizon.
no way. I think that also reminds me that what is it? Arcaea Song Contest is here again. Season again.
Yay!
We are here. I have 5 for this contest in the works.
Did you see 5?
Yes.
5? What?
5 songs in the works.
I got one contest related thing, even though it's more of a
Yeah, I
tournament.
do as well.
Yeah. I just want to talk. Speaking of stuff we've been playing, besides Paradigm Reboot, I also play Gitadora. Part of my controller collection is a guitar. There's
Oh,
pretty cool.
is it good?
Yes, it's good. It's
That's
good.
good. That's
Oh,
good.
you want to talk timing windows? I know we were mentioning like Elia in the
yeah.
pre-show. You're like Elia timing windows is wild. After Gitadora timing windows, everything else seems pale in comparison.
Gitadora is pretty similar to 2DX timing windows, right?
I think so, but it's probably just how brutal the quick bursts of strumming is. Was you don't? I shouldn't say you don't. I mean, it's a different game. I could just leave it at that. It's a different game,
Yeah.
and it hits me differently in Gitadora than it does in 2DX. And I'm probably just better skill level wise in Gitadora, probably from like real life based guitar experience. And also, everybody used to play Guitar Hero. They're not the same, but there is an amount of overlap that helped me jumpstart my Gitadora journey, as it were. But I want to talk about XG Fest, which is an online. It's going on right now. I think it ends in September. It's an online tournament. Community members over at the what do they call it? Mistake of the Lake folks. Mistake of the Lake isn't happening. So
Oh, yeah. I
they
was
were
kind of about that.
like, let's do something for at least the Gitadora part. I know most people just think it's the DDR tournament, but there's other games there. Gitadora folks exist. I'm probably like in the cast, I'm probably the Gitadora player, and I'm
You
not
are
even
definitely.
that big. Yeah. I'm not. I play a little bit of everything, so that's how that happened. But I mean, I own a fucking guitar. I jam out on that shit. It's fun. It's what is it called? September. We're probably gonna post something in the links for it. But it's
Does
just kind of sick.
that is that tournament like? Do they run it on the Konaste version of Gitadora?
As far as what it actually is, it's like you gotta get your scores in. I'm pretty sure they have
Yeah, so you play
what's it
on like
called
some
on
official
Class A and
version.
put in your score picture from that. Yeah,
Yeah, okay. I was curious because I know the Konaste version of Gitadora is like pretty decent.
pretty good.
I am gonna pull us back to the Arcaea contest thing really quickly because I do want to go over the new update as well because I think that's an important thing to hit before we
Oh,
start.
that's gonna take a while.
Man, we're going all over this document. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's okay. Don't worry. Don't worry about
Really
it.
quick on the contest, by the way. When I was at Anime Central, I met Dandalus and Jorts,
Sick.
and I was talking to them, and that was the only thing. That was the first thing we talked about. I was like, this is gonna be maybe the most competitive rhythm game song contest ever run. I don't think it's gonna be close.
I would argue that happened like last year.
You don't think this one will be bigger?
No, they're always gonna be bigger. This is the first contest since Eagle Seeker where they are giving a grand prize of a in-game partner.
Yeah.
Which means
this is my entire Twitter was just exploding the day that it got announced. Like everyone and their dog is entering this thing.
Now, my prediction, to be honest, which is also why and not to mention the entrance period is at least for Arcaea contest is absurdly long. 2 months is a lot of time. At least from when this was announced, May 15th.
That's like that's the window, right?
Yeah, it's like 2.5 months. Yeah.
Or is that sorry, I'm just asking because I'm just clarifying. When they announced it, did it immediately start, or is it like there's a window of time where you can submit it?
It immediately starts.
Okay, so you have like 2 months to do it.
You have literally 2.5. Yeah. It's May 15th to July 23rd. So
May 15th. Okay, so it's been running for about a month now. Okay.
It's been running for about a month. Obviously, there are some people that are probably already done. Lar, I'm looking at you. I'm gonna probably honestly say that my predictions, at least for this contest specifically, are that if the in-game partner is decided at some point, that it is most likely going to be it will be related to an ascended seeker, most likely.
I mean, makes sense.
Especially if you all know the Arcaea story, the Seeker is one of the brand new characters that was introduced from the last contest. It could
considering the last contest ended up being plot relevant, I assume this one will be too.
It most likely will be, and that's probably why it's going to be so competitive.
Yeah, I would assume that they've kind of shifted their model, at least for this upcoming arc, from doing to the first arc, everything was in-house, right? Like all the first story arc stuff was like none of it was contest related, was it? Like,
Yeah,
and nothing from FV,
Yeah,
nothing
yeah,
from Black
yeah.
Jade?
Nothing.
None of it,
No.
none of it.
Abstruse Dilemma, and the entire Lasting Eden pack is the very first instance of any sort of contest
Yeah.
content being a part of the
Right.
story. The main
But
story
considering that they
specific-
brought the prize being a navigator, whatever, I always say navigator, Voltex
Navigator.
fucking brain rot, bro.
Navigator.
I'm pretty sure
Voltex
it's in
brain
the
rot.
Arcaea video too. Anyway, the
Choose on Voltex brain rot.
bringing the
Mhm.
partner back into it as part of the contest, like I'm almost certain it's going to be a story relevant thing that you get. So, and yeah,
100%.
like you said, I would imagine a lot of people would love to be involved in that. So I can see that being a very
it
tempting
is-
prize.
It is 100% the reason why they're. I'll at least confirm for the. This can stay on the recording. I will at least confirm for the audience that there are 5 songs at least that I'm working on at once for this dang contest. It has been, I think, humble brag. Hold on. Let me see if it is still. Last I checked. Yep. Last I checked, I am still the most liked retweet on this tweet in the EN tweets. Which is quite lit. I retweeted it on May 15th and I said, let's get to work. And I have like 200.
I remember this. Yeah, that boy.
I am still to this day, out of all the retweets on that tweet, I'm the most liked retweet. Now, I'm gonna make this a very humble thing to say. I'm gonna be very humble and say I appreciate the support. I don't know how big my chances are. However, with the amount that I got, the amount of support I got from Shazura, I would argue at the very least, and I'm trying to look at this from the most unbiased point of view that I can, argue that I am at least on the list for being. I know that there are Arcaea fans that want me in the game. I'm confident of that. I'm not going to say that I am a favorite to win, but I think I am confident in saying that there's a lot of people that would love to have me in the game. So, but in terms of people that I know want to be in the game, I know there's or some other artists that I know people have wanted to get in. It would be nice to see Prower win again. It would be nice to see some more lower tier. Again, I'm not going to say lower tier. God, not lower tier. Lesser known artists. I would like to see more.
Let's say some fresh faces, some
Yes.
some surprises.
New
You
people.
could put it that
We
way.
need
Yeah.
New people. I need a
Arcaea
collection of
doesn't
new
seem to
people.
love
also
doing that though.
Now, anyway, so it's like, as humble as I can be, I'm like, I see everybody's encouragement for me. I will do my best. Thank you. However, I'm not sure I'm a fan favorite to win. We'll see.
All right. So what I'm hearing is screw the low tiers are the only choice. All right, got it.
Yes.
Locked
yes.
in. Locked in.
Yo,
Yes.
since we're talking about Arcaea, can we talk about the Arcaea Online changes?
Hell
Yes.
yeah. Hell yeah.
Okay.
Seamless transition. Let's go, gamers.
First of all, I'm just gonna put out my point there before anything gets out. Finally, new banners. Let's go.
Oh, brother.
No longer.
All right, so
no
we know
longer
what side
seeing no
he's
banner.
lying on. We know where.
All
We
right,
know
so
where his
the one
allegiances
good
lie.
thing is out of the way, and like,
Yeah. All right. That's the
We
good thing. Now let's talk
understand.
about everything else.
brother.
Because I think I am confident in probably criticizing this one a little bit.
look. So okay, I can summarize the changes off the top of my head. 'Cause I
Yeah,
don't
go
have it in front
ahead.
of me.
You go ahead.
The main thing that it's you get they raised the price by $2, right?
Of course. Well, what do you get for that
And-
extra cost?
Wait,
Uh,
wait, they raised it? I thought
Yes.
it's
Maybe
like
they didn't raise
200
it. I might be
memory.
forgetting. Either way,
Jack,
Wait,
I
it's
think you're
only 200
projecting a little
memory.
bit.
no. I actually couldn't remember if they
Oh.
raised it. I might be thinking of something different. But
Maybe I'm
the,
double
the,
confused, but it's fine.
the main things that they changed was they added you get a free what is it like
It's a
song
it's
ticket,
three
memory archive
things. Yeah,
song.
it's 3 things that can happen depending, right?
you get like a song
Yeah.
ticket for a random unlock for. Is that right? Is
Something
it
you
like it's a
don't?
random
Memory archive.
extend
You
song?
I have it in front of me. It's
Yeah, you read it.
not more
I
like-
thought
Yeah,
I
three
remembered it. I
things.
don't fucking remember anything.
Well, you get 3 things. You get a monthly bonus, which is obtain 1 random song from the memory archive, 2 memory
yeah.
boost tickets, or 20 ether drops. You can choose. Now, I will say, as a subscriber to Arcaea Online, because I'm a shill, you do get a choice between those 3 every month.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
I chose, for example, the 20 ether drops because I don't really need any of the songs from memory archive because I've gotten every single one. And then you gain up on top of that, if you're a subscriber, you get a new banner every month to customize your profile. and you get 30% progress on all world mode. I'm gonna
That
be
is
real.
misleading, by the way. You
I am
start
gonna
with
be real.
10%.
It
Yeah.
builds up, it accrues over time. Yeah.
You have to
No, it
subscribe.
says,
You have to
well,
subscribe for 3
actually,
months in a row to get to 30%.
not totally misleading. The wording is gain up to 30%.
Ah, yeah.
I saw that the first time it's
Okay.
going up to. I didn't know the rate because I'm not buying that shit. But
It's
apparently
once per
it's 10
month.
per month. Yeah, 10%.
Now, I will say, personally, I mean, I've been playing with the memory boost a little bit, or the world boost a little bit.
Yeah.
It kind of amounts to not that much, in all honesty.
Yeah, because and this is a complete fabrication, but I bet you those bitches have been extended by 30%.
That was what a lot of people were thinking was going to
Yeah,
happen. They're going to make the
this
maps
is
longer.
comedy. This is comedy, but it doesn't bode positively to think that they're giving you as low as a 30% thing. You can't even feel the difference after paying.
Personally, I think the monthly bonus is actually really nice. That's good. I think the memory boost. I think personally the memory boost tickets are don't pick those. If you want my honest opinion, pick either the ether drops or pick the random song if you can't afford a song like every.
If you're doing the subscription service, how do you not just buy Memory Archive?
That's the other thing.
Because
like,
I have
that's-
Memory Archive and I don't understand why
because-
everybody wouldn't have that.
Well, personally, if you've already been playing for a very long time, what you're
Mm.
basically getting the subscription for is for the ether drops. That's what you're getting the subscriction for.
But you get them
and
when
of
you
course the
buy
exclusive-
packs already. Because
Yeah.
I do buy whatever new pack comes out, and that's how I get my drop.
Now I think personally the profile banners, to be honest, I'm like, this is sort of okay, but I personally
It's
think
for a certain individual who likes aesthetics, and that's valid. It's also not me.
It's cosmetic. It's fine to monetize cosmetic.
I think Arcaea having a cosmetic customizability thing is something that makes the game definitely a little more interesting as opposed to the monotony of grinding. However, here's part of my problem with this. Please just give us more customization options for people that can't necessarily buy the game. Like, give us like banners for something like achievement overall.
That's going to be a no for me, dog.
I
Well-
feel like banners themselves
Game-
are so
pay up for
aside
that
of the
shit.
main game. What were you saying, Jack?
Nothing. I'm sorry. I'm being.
Alright.
Wait, I'll wait until everyone's
You
done.
could
Go,
be
go.
what's a fancy ass word? You could be acerbic, all right. You could be as violently unprofessional as you
No, no,
want,
no.
brother.
I'm saving my point. You can finish it.
Alright,
Finish your thought.
All I'm saying is the idea of cosmetic stuff to me is so like detached from the core gameplay that I care more about like is there more playable content for free? If you want to like gate money behind cosmetics, at least like pull the curtain back on some more free content for like Jack's whole video was imagine the new player today, like how little they have just starting out, right? That's kind of where I kind of feel a little frustrated is yeah, we can make up things to spend money on, but ideally that's supposed to be a give and take, right? So you're going to take these things and paywall them, but what you give in return is like core gameplay more accessible for the average individual.
There's two things also. There's also another thing here, which is like Arcaea Online. It feels like it's like we've been asking for more content to help beginners jumpstart. This feels like an attempt to get beginners at a jumpstart, especially with the one random archive song or 20 ether drops, a 30%
You mean
progress
beginners
on
with
world
money? Beginners
Yeah,
with
with
Yes,
money,
no,
though.
here's
What?
here's the
Yeah,
problem.
if-
No,
if
here's-
they do
I'm
have
getting
the
there. I'm
money,
getting there. I'm getting there.
Okay,
Here's the problem. It's like
I'll let you finish.
I was like, here, I'm getting there where it's like this feels like an attempt to try and get beginners into it, but it's like, but the problem at the core of it is that it's expensive to get fully into Arcaea, or at least to get full if you want to catch up
It's
with everything.
either expensive or time consuming.
And so what I'm thinking is there's either two things. Either this is their attempt at it and it's not really going to work, or the second thing is they could be playing the long game where they're getting the more experienced players to buy into the subscription service so they have a more sustainable form of income, so that they have more money to maybe give a little more free content as opposed to having to make everything paid. That could be what they want, but at the long game, it's like I'll believe it when I see it.
I think that's like I think okay. So I think that kind of take about like cost funding the game. I don't think that's like unfair either. I think that's like maybe it's the generous way to look at it for sure, but I don't think it's like wholly unrealistic. And games do need to make money.
I
Um,
Right.
understand things take funding, but I don't know why I'm getting
but
30% boost on a thing
but
that was supposed to generate funding, right? World mode
okay,
was already supposed to be a way to kind of do like a dark pattern, make people want to spend money to boost past grinding. But then I'm also spending more money to get a subscription to get a little bit of a boost instead of just spending money to like get a product that would be the gameplay. I mean, I'm old school, man. I wish they would just be like, here's $40, have everything,
all right.
right? I know that's old, but I feel like
I
what
gotta throw
happened to
out
that
my I gotta
era.
throw out my complaints here.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
So okay, because I'm with you, and I think this is a good transition point. So obviously, the problem that I have with this, as known world mode and Arcaea progression hater question mark,
Mhm.
is
Hater.
since
Exclamation.
they already sold with memories or whatever, they sold ways to like boost world mode, right? Like on new
Yep.
maps you
Yep.
can use memories to boost at the beginning if you want to get the content fast.
Correct. Yeah.
So you can also use it to like refill your energy and shit like that. So um the thing with this, when I see something like this come out, my immediate thought is they are never going to make world mode better now. They're never ever going to make it easier or shorter because now they have another financial incentive to never do it. Because why would they make it easier when they could instead just charge you to get the subscription and pay get the 30% boost for paying for 3 months? It's like and the it's just it's the same with the rewards you get. So I think y'all remember that they added those like beginner missions that give you very similar types of rewards, right? Like a memory archive ticket, ether drops, whatever, right? Fragments.
Something like that. Yeah.
Why would they add more of those now? You get them from the damn subscription. It's like they're not gonna make it easier because they shoved it into the subscription model. It's frustrating because it seemed like that they were going to maybe make some adjustments to make it a little easier, especially when they added the beginner missions. It was like, okay, maybe they are trying to like do some stuff to make it a little easier for the honor app, even though the beginner missions were kind of random. I think it should have just been regular like daily missions or weekly missions. That would have been fine.
It does
Um,
not help beginner players' case, which I think is what most of the community is demanding for. They're like, we want
right.
to get beginners into the game, but we still can't. This is again a great feature for everybody that has already been playing Arcaea, but for everybody that wants to start or is still starting out, it's kind of
And
no. But I'm like,
and
if you
but
sure, the only thing you have to lose as a veteran player for this is that you kind of lose like a little more money on the subscription. But even then, you're still like you still lose in the fact that it's like, well, you're not finishing a lot of the world mode stuff optimally. What I'm gonna think is really this is partially why I want to eventually work to the corner cat. Eventually, hopefully, when we get big enough, I would like to bring Guy onto the show because I do want to specifically ask. Not like I mean I kind of
I
do
don't
want
know
to
if you
ask y'all
answer, but go
questions.
ahead. Yeah. I
No,
don't know,
it's
man.
like
To me, it's business. I mean, it's very clear that everything they're doing is obviously for financial viability. It's just like, why can't we be financially viable and provide a product? I don't mind getting milked, and you could record that out of context. Like, I have
bro,
bought every DJ Max
bro,
DLC. Like,
I don't care how
I've
much
bought,
DLC there is. I don't want a
yeah,
fucking subscription, bro. I
that's
don't
what
need
it
a
is.
subscription for my
That's what it
rhythm game.
is.
Also, like you said, Eris, there should be like some alternate way to just kind of like pay for everything or not have to deal with
Yeah.
this. And the answer to that is the Switch version, but they haven't updated that shit in forever. It's
Because
like
where's
so
their
behind
incentive?
now.
Yeah.
It's
it's
like,
way
okay,
behind
so I
now.
don't even have that option because people were literally like in the comments of the video I made about Arceus progression system. They're like, just get the Switch version. That's what you want. And I was like, yeah, I kind of said that in the video, but okay. But now it's getting to the point where it's out of date. Like it's
No,
actually
like it
behind a
used to be
lot.
the Switch version used to just be a version behind, which was like, okay, no biggie, it'll get updated eventually. The Switch has not been updated. That
Yeah. So
they
I don't have that option, right?
And then
It's like even
Switch
if I wanted to
exclusive
play
to
on
made to
Switch.
mobile as well. So now it's really
Yes,
screwed
right.
over. Yeah.
Right. So it's
Yeah.
like, okay, so are you even going to like update the Switch version? And then also, it's hard not to be a little cynical and think, well, the Switch version doesn't have the subscription. So why would they update it?
yeah, that's it all comes back to basically it's like as
It
much as
just
I
undermines the progression system. There's no reason they're ever going to make it better because they've made a way to pay for it.
yeah, exactly. Eris and I are kind of on the same page about this where it's basically like I would love to continue defending the game and basically say I would love to continue using the excuse of, well, every game needs financial viability, and yes, they got to charge money for some stuff. But that excuse only really goes so far when people are already a lot of people are already buying into Arcaea. I don't
You
wanna
already
use
have to
Twitter-
pay for packs.
I
You
have all
already
the
have to
packs.
buy it.
Everybody,
No,
that's
exactly.
the thing. I
No,
literally
no.
own every pack.
No, so do I. I own every fucking piece of
Yeah.
content in this game. Now,
Yeah,
here's
I'm
the
with
problem.
you, Aris. You and I said, I mean, like, we're paying out the ass for like, you know, like
I'm already
expensive DJ Max
supportive.
DLC, bro. Like, I'm like,
Yes.
I'm playing DJ Max DLC on release now. Like, I'm already caught up.
Yes,
I have to
sir.
buy the new stuff, not on sale.
Absolutely.
Almost like,
Absolutely.
here's
I
the
get
other
easy
thing.
to on stuff.
I don't
I
wanna-
spend money on good product. Just give me a good product.
Well, see, here's the thing. It's like I don't want to use Twitter metrics as a thing. Arcaea English has 75,000 followers. Arcaea Japanese Twitter account, that's normalizer. Whoops. Arcaea JP has fucking 151,000 followers. I am not doubting that without this subscription service, they are still making
Yeah,
a good
they're
amount of
doing
money to function
fine.
the game. Now, I understand that we have to pay people because now some people like Toaster and Nitro, as well as Guy, have made this their full-time job. And that's obviously not cheap. But the only problem is it's like, there's got to be better ways besides a subscription model. There has to be. Because there's other people in games that have done way better. I'm not going to say way better,
The
but
thing that
like,
really kills me about it is that World Mode already has paid boosting content in it. You can already pay to skip. Why do we need or pay? You can pay to make it go faster.
I was about to say, I
Why-
wish, because I
I
have
wish it was
songs
pay
I
to
have
skip,
bought
but-
that I don't have on world mode yet because I can't
Right,
just
like-
stick to it.
That's a good example, right? They're still
Yeah.
doing that where sometimes they'll like I mean fuck what's it called? The newest content is a good example. You need the navigator from world mode. The map isn't long, but my point is there's still times where after you buy a pack, you get forced back into world mode, which means it's another chance for you to interact with that shit energy system and be
Yep.
like, fuck man, if I just spent 50 memories, I could just keep going. It's like it just feels
Yeah, most of them are
it's like,
partners
pick one,
who
bro.
are
Pick a
good in
lane.
DDR.
Mhm.
and on top of that,
Pick
and
a
on
lane.
top of that, like raising characters, for example, it's like ether drops. Like once you've exhausted them, they are a really hot commodity, and then you have to use world mode to get through those entire.
Why can't we use fragments?
Like,
You can
well,
already
here's
do it
the
in
other
the
thing. It's
Switch
like
one.
here's a great way to fucking fix it. Put a daily limit on how many fragments you can use to upgrade a character.
I don't like
There's
that.
your answer.
Mm.
If
It's
you're
also like-
worried about
I don't know about that.
I've
well,
got
no, if you're worried about using it, if you're worried about if you're worried about everybody all of a sudden maxing their characters entirely, then at the very least, if you want to keep the grindy aspect of the game, then limit how many fragments people can use per day and force people to play the game with partners to get fragments.
Or
I
Although
pick
hate that
technically,
idea. I don't like that
technically
idea, but I
Winter
think
Call-
that
I
I
mean,
would
Winter
rather
Call
have
was-
that.
keep in
Not-
mind, Winter Co is
no.
keep in mind though, grinding fragments is really easy now. Winter Co is fucking broken.
I mean,
But
you gotta jump to
Gotta
the
pay
hoops to
for
get
it.
it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You gotta jump to the hoops to get access. But yes,
Yeah, let's not talk about the fact that the two best
It's
characters in the
limited
game
as
you have
well.
to pay for.
yeah.
I
feel
mean,
like
there's normal code,
business-wise-
Magic
go
is
ahead.
limited.
once again, I am going to say no honest from all of us, no honest shade to the developers at Lowero. We understand they're trying, but at the same time, it's like we have to be critical about these issues because
Maybe a
it's like,
little from me.
Well, it's
I
like,
don't think it's the devs.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the devs. I think it's the business structure. Because how is it that you're like, we need money, but then what is the thing you're selling? They've stopped selling me a product that I will spend money on. And I think they're trying to like sell people ways to make what exists less worse.
Yeah.
And I don't want a game to
Right.
sell
That's
me
a good
the
way to
less
put it. I
worse
really like
version of the
that.
game. Yeah, I
really like
want
it.
them
They're
to
selling-
make
they're
cool shit that I'll
selling-
pay for.
They're selling the solution to the problem they made.
yes,
Yeah.
I
I'm
don't
kind of
like
like instead fix the solution and then make the subscription service. Like for example, the best part about I think personally the thing about the subscription service that makes sense is basically like the extra cosmetic items. Yes, okay, that's a subscription that enhances.
that-
No, but I'm trying to say
It depends on the type of
enhances it.
person. That's all I'll say. That's all I'll say.
What
Type of
I was
person.
going to try to say though is that it enhances something. It doesn't like nobody was really asking for customization in general, or at least not from the profile banner perspective. I kind of wanted more profile banners, but that's just me.
No,
But
it's
like
fine. I mean, that's proof that
people
there
were-
was a market for it.
There
That's-
is
there's
that's
a
what I mean
market
by type of person.
There
type
is
of
a
person.
market for
People do
but-
like cosmetics. There's no doubt about that.
Also,
And
I
then-
think most
but the
people
problem
can
is-
generally accept cosmetics as DLC because it's optional. Whereas
right, exactly. Ether drops
subscription
though, it's like
related
it's
to
a
yeah.
Ether drops though, it's a commodity. Ether drops has now become. It was supposed to be a more common way to upgrade your characters. It is now extremely rare to get ether drops, and it's really hard to grind for them, and it sucks.
It's just money now. I
So
dead
now
as
they're
only get
selling
them
them
when
to
I
you.
buy the thing. Yeah, they come with packs, which they didn't used to. Let's give them their credit.
I'll give them credit there. That
Ether
that
things used
actually was a
to
good
not
change.
come with when we spent money on packs or whatever the currency is. You can tell how little I care. I can't even remember what the currency is called. Whatever
Memories?
interstitiary memories, whatever intermediate memory thing. Every time you spend money on memories, you do get the actual ether, and that's good compared to how it used to be. But now that's like again, you just need to have money to get the ether, otherwise you're essentially SOL.
I want to say, by the way, that like most of the reason I'm upset by this is because it's so obvious from looking at the Switch version that they have literally solved these problems, and then instead they're just like, fuck it, let's just sell them the solution.
It's
And
business.
it's hard to
problems.
believe that they'll ever make it better.
What is all this money going to? I don't understand the operations, and obviously, I'm
And that's
speaking
true.
from
You know,
ignorance.
maybe
I
you know,
wanna
maybe they're
point that
trying.
out. Yeah,
I'll give them a little bit of the benefit of the doubt here and say maybe they're really trying to like up the budget and get some more crazy shit going on. And if that's the case, then you can call me wrong when they drop some crazy shit in the
You
game.
know what I honestly swear to God should be done, and this sounds crazy. Like, what happened to crowdfunding? I'm gonna say it. I'll go out there.
I mean, there's still quite a bit of games that are crowdfunding. You know,
I don't think people want to do
There's quite
crowdfunding
a
in a
bit.
game
Well,
that's
I'm gonna
already
bet you
out
five.
yet.
I'll bet you $5 if Guy actually went out. If Guy or Toaster or Nitro actually went out and basically said, "Hey, you want to just give Arcaea money and then contribute to basically keeping it?" Because that's kind of how Figros does it. A
It's
little
to be
bit.
fair-
I mean, the
Like,
Figros is a free game, so that's different.
no, but it's like quite literally like no, but it's the same model because it's like if you give them money and then they go like, then we'll keep content free. Everybody can fund it. It's like it at least works towards that. But it's like
It's too good for Arcaea to take that route.
It would be interesting, right? Because Arcaea historically is very secretive about their update cycle.
Yep.
Like they don't really talk about what they're doing until it's out. And
Yep,
so
yeah.
the problem is if they were to go that route, they would have to be a lot more transparent. And I
This is
respectfully-
true. This is
respectfully
very
or not
true.
respectfully,
about
Arcaea,
what they
whichever
are
you
working
whichever you
for,
believe it is, I don't think
not
they're gonna do
necessarily
that.
the update. They don't really need to do the crowdfunding thing
But
because
money's so bad. Where they're getting money from?
well, giving out the example of like Figros. Well, if you're taking Figros as an example, it's more so because of the player base that they had in mainland China. They have enough people to support the game so that it can kept be free for the rest of us outside of here. And they also have merch and such. So in terms
Also, you can play
of
Rizline. Rizline.
Yeah,
yeah,
Riz-
and then there's Rizline.
It's definitely
The
Ohio's
money-
it's
King
Rizline.
Rizline, but it
monetary-
came
I got
before
the
the
Riz.
whole Riz thing. Also, I'm gonna go ahead and round this and say we should probably move on to the next topic.
Erase the
God.
whiteboard.
Let me get-
Erase the whiteboard.
The tiniest, no, my tiniest on the way out. I'm not saying it should become Figros. I'm saying if they need money to do things, just announce we would like to do these things with community support, and then people will actually spend their money on a project. If I
Also,
don't
if
mind
people
having the money
knew-
spent for something,
Right. If people knew that that money from the subscription was like going to like new content or supporting a developer or something, I think
Yeah.
they would just swallow it a lot easier. Like if they
Yeah,
said
yeah.
like straight up like we want to produce
Mhm.
one more pack per year than we normally do, I'd be like, fine, that's whatever. I don't like
Yeah,
it, but
yeah,
I can
yeah.
see at least what you're doing with it.
I swallow DJ Max budget because I know I get extensions.
I think that's like an indie thing. I mean, there's still an indie thing, but yeah.
Yeah,
so-
I like Michiko, like you just said. I mean, it's more of an indie game thing to do that, but also I don't know. I feel like the way Arcaea operates, they're just like right smack in the middle between like a big game and an indie game. I feel like it would not be.
Yeah,
normal for them
that
to do
is the problem. I'd say.
Double A.
Yeah.
It used to be a term. Double A used to be a term. They're kind of double A.
I believe they're. I personally still believe they are the reason that, for example, I think they're kind of the reason that Sega, Bamani, and a bunch of other people are looking more towards the sort of the indie artist scene as opposed to just
They
the
are.
big artists that happen. in
Arcaea
South.
bridges
Oh,
the
for
gap.
sure.
Arcaea
Sure, yeah.
literally
It's the
is
reason.
the reason.
It's the reason that the song contest is such a big deal. It's because those people in the smaller sphere can get to the bigger sphere if they get into Arcaea.
I see that. I see what you're saying.
As an artist, I'm gonna say yes and
You don't
no.
think that helps? You don't think that helps?
It helped. No, I never said it doesn't help. I'm just basically saying it's like it's a yes. It's literally the meme of what is it from the
Yes
Pirates
or
movie?
no?
Well,
Yeah.
yes, but actually
Well,
no.
yes, actually, no. Yeah.
Yes, you can get into Arcaea. That does not mean that Sega is gonna come knocking on your doorstep.
Oh, I mean, for sure. I mean, there's other
Like-
parts of it, but like I mean, it almost certainly helps you. It's
It
not
is
gonna
a
hurt.
resume helper. It is basically
Right.
It is basically the Eagle Scout of being a rhythm game artist.
I mean,
Like, it's
in terms of like more serious rhythm games, it's by far the most well-known one outside of Japan.
right.
Is it?
Um,
I guess.
I would say so,
It
way
is,
more
yes.
than Voltex or any of the arcade games. I would say Arcaea is just for the sake of being on mobile. I mean,
Arcaea
mobile
is
just
probably
gets us
more
such a bigger
internationally well known.
audience.
Arcaea is more internationally well known than some arcade rhythm games, to be honest.
I would say most personally, but
Yeah.
maybe
sure.
it comes close on like DDR. DDR is probably more well known, but like that's just like that's historical cultural relevance.
Yeah, and
for
it's
North
also, I was
America.
about to say, it's people being aware of it, not even really playing it.
Right. I would say Arcaea is more of like the active player. Like Arcaea might unironically be the most played rhythm game in the US.
Yes. No, it is.
That's
Oh,
kind of
I
just
mean, I
like
can probably
a
confirm.
speculation on my part, but like
Nope.
mobile
Actually, wait.
gets
I'm
such
so
a big
sorry.
audience.
What are you gonna
No,
do when
I'm so sorry,
Beatstar
Jack.
shows up?
Actually, Jack, I'm so sorry. You are dead wrong because I have I have basically field research from like my line of work. I know exactly what
Okay.
is the most played rhythm game in the U.S.
Piano tiles.
No,
I'm
that
fucking
doesn't
around.
count. No, dude, it's Project Sekai.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. It's definitely Project Sekai. Yeah, no, you don't even have to sell me on that. You're just right.
Arcaea basically is probably the most well-known game at this point, like across the U.S. However, that's probably about to change, considering
You think?
considering we just recently had a very, very, very important and very successful U.S. location test for a certain washing machine game.
Yay!
I don't
Let's
know if
talk
I would
about
say
the-
it's gonna take over Arcaea, but or
It's
Project
for washing
Sekai. But,
machines.
Not Project Sekai. I'm talking
you know,
about.
people do
Arcaea.
like doing their laundry, though. Is what I can say.
I am gonna say though, this location test is something I didn't think was going to happen for years, if ever.
I mean, the prevailing what's it called? Like the prevailing narrative in America is that Sega hates the US. Now the
No, that's
closer,
Konami.
no, apparently
Japan.
not.
I
Apparently
think it's Japan
not
just
like
hates
that.
us.
I think
So-
it's just
so-
Japan.
Yeah.
Japan hates us.
Where that Sega hates NA came from is more from Sega's NA distributor, is my understanding of it, because the
Right.
distributor didn't want to deal with distributing like those games. Rather, they wanted it to go through them if they did it, and they didn't want to do it. I think that was basically the
Like an
idea.
exclusivity thing, right?
But this
Yes.
U.S. location test actually happened. Probably this U.S. location test recently happened in I think it's Puente Mills round one.
Yeah.
Puente Mills round one got 3 DX cabs, I think, or 4.
2.
One of them.
Wait.
It was 2. Was it 2 or 3? No,
Yeah,
it was
just
2.
2.
It's 2.
They got 2 My DX cabs. Obviously, the actual version was version USA location, so there is not an actual there's not an actual My International carbon date on this version yet. So it is indeed a location test. But it was so successful that I think people are still that I think people are now considering it's a technical test. Because the line, as far as I know, was out the fucking door to play this.
For the record, that was a rumor. That's not confirmed.
It's not confirmed, but it might as well be.
Don't take it as confirmed. Is from what,
yeah,
I've heard.
this
Don't
is
take
not
it as
legally
confirmed.
binding. Yeah.
Now
I
I'm
think
just gonna. I am going to say it's like I'm going to say if this was a location test for interest, though, it was wildly successful. At least.
I hope so.
According to the
It
people who
depends on
actually
their
make
metric.
decisions, exactly. That's what I mean. Yeah.
It kind of
Yeah,
depends on your
exactly.
metric. That said, the pictures of lines for it were pretty insane.
Yeah, there was word of at least from other people that those the My location test came in on a plane, and that there are other cabs apparently on their way cargo ship wise and are stuck in importing hell, at the least for right now, like official ones for round ones. That's a rumor, so I can't say that one's confirmed. But I'm like, if that's confirmed,
Yeah, My players might be a little bit on the copium right now, but I think it was pretty successful.
It was
a lot
pretty
of rumors
successful.
have. Okay, I'm only saying it because like the same day the location test started, like 5 rumors started, like all at the same time, and like none of them had any basis.
Right. Now, I will say, I actually had a jump, at least already on the. Like, I think I found out someone, an anonymous source, came to me. He came to, basically, someone came to me and said, basically, that, like, hey, there's a rumor going around that there's going to be a US location test for My. And I was like, I literally asked the person, I was like, who did you hear this from? And they literally said, I don't know. And I'm like, wait, then when did you hear about it? They're like, I don't know. And I'm like, bro, I can't take you at face value for this. And then sure enough, location test happened.
No, that's how you do
it. So
Yeah.
let's put it this way. That at least gives me a little bit of hope that I'm like, maybe one of the 5 rumors might be true. But because at this point, if that got leaked early. Although that could have just easily been leaked by around one tech and put but
You're not too far off with that.
yeah. Now I think obviously what was passed to me just now from Michi in our one of our text tweets was basically Star-Eyed Kirby, a known My community member, basically gave us all of the removed songs from the My location USA location test. Some of the ones that are a little obvious as that I saw were basically stuff like Caramel Dancing, Himitsu Spark. But what was interesting that was removed at least was pretty much a lot of Sasuke UK songs that were on his UMAA records or whatever his record album was. Like for example, Kieran, Goodbye Mr. Jack, Jack the Ripper. Some other songs also got removed, like Trackmaker for some reason, as well as a lot of pretty much every Prosekai port.
There's a pretty
Oh,
good chance I would say that
mhm.
like stuff like that. I would imagine that a lot of that stuff is operating on some sort of like weird temporary license because of the location
Mhm.
test. So I would say
Right.
if I had to speculate, I would say that especially stuff that's already in like Project
Felix
Sekai
of Garatia is also a weird.
probably would be in an official release considering it already is like licensed to be in a different game in the US. So that's just an observation,
I
speculation on
feel
my
like
part.
it would
Pretty
be
much.
easy to bridge that gap, but it is not automatic, right? They have to at
Yeah,
least
yeah. I
take
would
a
imagine
little
it's
bit
more
more
like
steps to secure those rights.
yeah, I would imagine they just didn't have it set up for the location test, so they probably just
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now, how I imagine how we got to this point really is how we got to this point really was first of all there was an old location test for My Milk or My Finale back in like 2017. It was wildly
That sounds
unsuccessful.
like
The game was
milk.
off.
yeah,
It
it
was
was
milk. Yeah,
unsuccessful because the game was
the
offline
game
and
was
like
offline.
one
Had
song per
like
credit or something.
yeah, one song per
What?
credit,
One song?
and
Oh,
also the
That's
entire
wow.
song
prime.
list
That's
was
expensive.
intensely neutered, so
Yeah, yeah.
nobody played it.
Like imagine if they
Um,
location tested the offline Paradise Lost cabs. That's basically what it was like.
Basically that's what happened with My Milk. So
Oh.
it was absolutely awful. No one played it, and so Sega corporate was like, "Well, nobody likes My. Oh well, we're never gonna bring My." And
Average
That's like
US
self
location test experience.
that's like self-sabotage.
yeah,
Absolutely.
You
Yeah.
exactly.
sabotage the
So
location test.
so basically, it's here's how we got here. Essentially, then the U.S. was like, "All right, well, if they're not going to give us a proper location test, then we're just going to basically buy My cabs." So once Finale basically moved over to DX, then you have a bunch of privately owned My Finale cabs showing up. Now the My scene starts to grow in the U.S. And then it appears at GDQ thanks to Star on Kirby. Now everyone wants to play My, and everyone's starting to play My privately. Suddenly, Sega then realizes, oh shit, wait, people actually like My, and then now they're basically scrambling to put in a location test so that they can essentially have a grip on My in the US. Because people are starting to realize that, oh, I could just play My at home. And I think also with the release of the 80, I'm gonna bet you $5 that corporate was like, with the release of the 80X controller, they're like, all right,
Yeah.
shit, we gotta get a grip on this.
As the controller
Yeah,
head of the corner
2K.
tab, that 80X ain't cheap, buddy. That's not gonna have any mass
Yeah,
adoption
2K
anytime
is
soon.
too much.
Actually,
Yeah,
the only
I've heard
problem
it's
is
also
I don't know, Eris, you would be surprised how many people I know own that fucking controller. It is not hard to get a hold
I
of.
just think you know people with deep pockets. That's different now. I think if you got money, it's easy to get a hold of. I'm just saying most folk don't got money who are.
Basically, it's 80X. Okay, but anybody that's basically 80X privately owned My cabs may or may not exist privately owned DX cabs, as well as Astro DX becoming a preferred method of practicing My or playing My if you don't have a
True.
My cab.
Astro DX is what I'd use. So.
Basically all of this piling up is eventually Sega going, okay, maybe we should put My in the US.
well, also there's been this thing. I mean, I don't think thing is the wrong way to put it, but there's been um a lot of talk lately about how Japanese arcade chains are making moves toward the US because the US's arcade market is starting to look like it's stronger than Japan's. Japan's
Yes.
arcade market has been
what trick? What's happening over there?
Well, even if it is, don't think that they're going to be able to break up with round one and Dave and Buster's and stuff. Like it's already
COVID
been
started
treated
causing
up.
not. I mean, it was happening a little bit before COVID too, but COVID was starting to cause
Oh.
the declines of like Japanese arcades. Like a lot of small Japanese arcades like don't exist anymore. Like it's basically the chains now
You're
in
right.
Japan.
Right.
Um,
Mm.
and arcade business on a whole in Japan has been declining. But there
I
was
mean,
just
you
like
still
an
have
art.
some local. You still have some really big local arcades that are still operating. Like for example, the really famous Tekken Green arcade, and then
Yeah, I mean for sure in Korea, but like
yeah,
but like it's so there's been some like okay so for example round one in the US is like insanely profitable, like
nowadays, yeah,
compared to I mean not even now compared to the profitability of a Japanese location. The round ones in the US are way more profitable, so they've
right,
been really making a big move for more locations. I mean that's pretty obvious, they open like 5 locations a year now, so
yeah.
and those are
Now,
big ass stores. Plus, there
yeah.
was a story that just recently the header company that owns Gigo bought one of the main. I forget the name of the company, but they bought one of the arcade operating companies in the U.S. like a week ago. It's not anything that's going to mean Gigo everywhere in the U.S. That's not what it means. But
No, but it's
it's one of
Yeah.
that
those
round one
companies.
started.
Well,
It's company that
it's
it's
funny.
those companies that own those like movie theater arcades and stuff like that. So they're like there are Japanese
Okay,
arcade
okay, okay.
companies making moves for the US arcade space. And I would imagine that some of these Japanese arcade game developers are noticing that too. For example, Round One's been getting more like metal games import, like they're getting localized metal games, coin pushers in the US.
Mm.
Like Konami's coin pushers from Japan are releasing in round one now, like regularly. So like
Yeah,
it kind
there's
of
already
seems
one
like
on my local
the
arcade as well.
Japanese arcade market is looking at the US right now. And I would imagine that that's part of why we saw my location test now.
Well, because
That's
I
my
also think
guess.
a part of this is also from COVID too, where it's like once COVID ended, people wanted to get out there more now, and now
Yeah.
everyone is like
Yeah, yeah.
wandering around a lot more, as opposed to. And then for Japan, I would argue this shift kind of started once Sega's like arcade chains sort of like closed down. That's
Yeah,
when
that
this
was right at the
shift
end of the
started to
pandemic.
happen. Like
Mhm.
so,
I think
it's
it's rebounding though. It's legitimately rebounding. Like Gigo is actively searching to expand, and I wouldn't be
Yeah, I
surprised if
mean,
there's going to be a
definitely. I
Gigo
mean,
in the
so
US as well.
no Gigo.
and
Actually, as far as I know, there is a rumor. I thought there was a rumor, or maybe it's confirmed that there is one Gigo location that is going to open in the U.S. at some point, as sort of like kind of
the
testing the waters.
the guy from Genda, which is the what's it called, the board that runs Gigo,
Yeah,
he
the
made a tweet
company.
about there was going to be overseas Gigo, but we don't know if it's going to like be
I
soon. And
think
if it comes here,
the
it's going to
overseas
be
Gigo that they're referring to is actually the one that's going to be opening in Vietnam, if I remember correctly.
interesting.
That
Either
would be
Yeah,
way,
they're going to be
interesting. It
opening
would
in
be
like
interesting to
this
see. It
month
would
or
be
next month.
interesting to see the push of arcade games, at least in the U.S., because I think that has bigger implications for not only just here comes the motorsport part. It's like that's interesting not only just for rhythm games, but also for other sort of data saving games. Bandai Namco and Wanga Midnight and Maximum Tune might get a big push from this as well. I'm trying to think of some other games that are data
I
focused.
mean, fuck, Tycho just had a huge successful location test here.
Which one?
Tycho.
Oh, Tycho.
Oh,
That's
Taiko,
true.
yeah, Taiko
That
has
would have
been
been a while
actively
earlier. Yeah.
pushing for
Basically,
their like
basically, it
world
seems like
championship stuff.
basically a rising tide carries all boats up. You know, like
Yeah, I mean, it just
so.
seems like they're starting to look, and I mean, I know for specifically Tycho, they location tested not in an arcade. They location tested in a damn supermarket.
Yeah,
At least
and it
one
was
of them has.
successful.
What?
Yeah, they
Well,
put
Wait,
it.
did
So there
they
used to
get
be
Tycho
what?
is well, Tycho
Tycho has been
people love
historically,
Tycho.
yeah, and
It's
also like
so beginner friendly, and the few times I've been in arcades,
It is
I
really
see a
beginner
lot of
friendly. Yeah,
randos.
yeah.
Yeah, a lot of randos just look at it and they're like, "I know what a drum is," and they have a blast.
Well,
Tycho is the
it's an
machine.
incredibly attractive machine, and it's kind of the
Yes.
same effect. It's kind of the reason that I've been preaching for a while. That I'm like, if my mic did another location test, which they just did, they would get so many people. The cab is very flashy and attractive. It's like
So
anyway, that being said, my round one, I will say, my round one specifically recently is having some cabs moving around. Interesting. I don't think it really means my mind, but I'm definitely saying, round ones are starting to, and I know this is not, I'm not the only round one that is experiencing this. Like, so cabs are moving around, so shit's coming. So
yeah, they've been working to expand.
Mm.
So
anyway,
I
so it's
mean,
like a lot of stuff is happening.
Just
Tycho,
make sure
Tycho, for
don't
example, like
copy.
Tycho. Ty- Sorry, go ahead, Michi.
Yeah, it's fine. I was just going to be joking, like don't move the hockey puck game in front of
God,
any video games.
fucking that. Did you guys see that? There was an air hockey machine
Yeah,
right behind a fucking Valve cab, and the screen got broken by the
yeah,
puck.
and the
Oh
screen got
my
broken.
fucking
Yeah.
god!
No, crime.
Yo,
Yo,
new
what was
meaning
it?
to
Who was the guy?
new meaning to pucking a song.
What was that funny? What was that funny round one Canada tweet where it was basically like we found that all assholes with an Apple Watch will be executed because they broke all
Yeah.
3 screens on the
Oh
MyMi.
yeah,
God.
yeah, and
So
yeah.
they
I
had
think
a,
that's
so they
like
had a
that's
tweet
like a
of like
Japanese scam.
a Darakuma plush wearing an Apple Watch.
I mean, the most
That's
okay,
actually
so,
yeah. That started Kirby's Derakuma plush.
Oh, that was Star Run? Okay. Now,
Yeah.
that's
like,
all I'm gonna say is Sega, if anyone on Sega is listening to this podcast, please make a partner that's basically like a thug Darakuma wearing a watch. Like, please.
no, this will not
I think that would
happen.
be really funny.
So like it's
Maybe
interesting
it
because
depends
I
on
mean
the
all the like my US location stuff obviously super exciting. I mean if all that comes out of this is round one getting my that's still a win. Like
That's a big
but I
win.
think
That's a really
but I
big
think
win.
with Tycho it's really interesting because they location tested outside of round one. They obviously did also one in round one. There was one in Illinois in round one, and then there was one at a I think it was still in Illinois at a Mitsuha, which is
Right.
a Japanese market. So that I think almost has more interesting implications. Can't talk, sorry.
No, that's
Because
big. That's
it's
big that it was
been
successful
been a long
outside an
time
arcade.
since right. It's been a long time since Japanese arcade companies, from what I can tell at least, have taken an interest in any arcade that isn't round one in the US. Like
Mhm.
that would be more interesting. Like, can you imagine if we entered like some weird new era where like like My starts ending up in movie theaters? Like that'd be wild.
Oh my
Then we'd also have a
God.
lot
Dude, I
more
would
weird.
flip a
Yeah,
tit, brother.
Then we would also have a lot more weird stories of like broken cabs again. But hey, at least there'd be more accessibility.
Actually,
So-
My I think is unlikely. I think the ones that have the biggest chance of being in movie theaters are really the big 2 that I can think of are like DDR already kind of is in movie theaters a little bit
I mean,
every
old
once in a
ones,
while.
yeah.
Yeah, but Sound Voltex I think has the biggest chance of that happening. But
That's interesting. I would not say that, but that's my
I also
opinion.
don't think, yeah.
either that or 2DX.
They
I don't know.
could
have
play
That's
gonna
on
be
it,
DDR or
but-
My or
or-
Tycho.
but if they're going to be putting in some Voltex, they just had to put in like some Voltex booths. And
They're
then
gonna
buy a
please no,
shitload
that
of
would be the
them.
monkey's paw so bad. Please.
No, I think that would be fucking hilarious. if
As
they got
someone
that
who
Yeah,
lives
square
very
ass-
far away from official access, if my local movie
fucking-
theater put in
Yeah,
booth
get that
cabs, I would
fucking-
probably cry.
Well, if they Sound Voltex booth, I'm like, look at this Minecraft looking ass arcade
I would
cab.
probably go
Yeah,
and
you would have
destroy
to
them with a
grab-
sledgehammer.
Like it.
Like that is the most monkey's paw curls thing I've ever heard. Please don't do that. I'd rather have nothing. Just don't give me anything. I would. But God, anyway. So like yeah, I super interesting. Obviously, I might got location.
Anyway,
here. I don't think
Kohadi-
anyone saw it coming.
Anyway, Kohadi and Sega team, I wish you luck. I hope you got lots of great data from the US. Please understand that it's like we still love My. I just hope that hopefully what this means also, last implication before we move on to the next topic. Big implications of if this is really successful, maybe this means that they can finally do a proper test with Chuni at some point and reevaluate Chuni's status in the
That's
US.
everyone's hoping.
Because
Yeah.
every time I've gone, I'm gonna be real, every time I have gone to round one, people play that Chuni cap less than Chrono Circle. I'm not even like, and that's a problem. Sorry, Chrono Circle lovers.
No. I was about to say, hey, can
Really?
you get one W
Wow.
at least, brother?
No W's.
You
I
did
mean,
get a
like,
W.
it's
You
only
played more than
close.
Chuni. You played more
This
than
is the
offline
win.
Chuni.
Let's
We're like
offline
full
Chuni is
circle.
pretty bad.
Eric,
Yeah.
buddy, my
I'm-
pal, my amigo, buddy, the bar is in hell right now. But
I
let
was
me
about
tell
to say,
you,
offline Chuni is pretty damn low of a bar. I can't celebrate too hard.
the
bro.
bar is in hell.
Yeah, it really
like,
is.
Fifth
I
circle
feel
of hell
bad
at
about
least.
it. Well,
Anyway, so sorry, Chrono Circle fans, but
Should we talk about DDR?
Hell
yes,
yeah.
can we talk about that real quick? Because that is actually the other really big release that's kind of happened. All right, let me get my hot take out of let me get my hot take out of the way. I think everyone's complaining too much about the UI. I think the UI is fine. I actually
It's
kind of
just
like
not
about
gross.
the UI.
It'll be
It's not about
fine.
the UI. It's about the sorting. Like I think they removed some
talking
of
about
the sorting elements
thing.
into it,
There was
and
that-
how
there's that
they
Christopher
and how they
Life-
display the songs.
there's
I
that
just want to be
Christopher
mad
Life
at
thing,
dancers
right?
being gone. I'm just gonna be as the resident DDR old head, although Jack's been around for a long time too. But like, I played since Mix. All right, I miss dancers. I'm just going to come out and say it.
I mean, yeah, I haven't even. Well, I've been playing since like I was in elementary school. But either way, like the
Yeah,
dancers are
you're
just part of
about
the
as far
game,
back.
bro.
Yes, it's the identity.
Just leave them in.
It's
look,
and then the BGAs are a fucking little box. Like, what are we doing? That's what they
I
died
think
for.
the like character art that they went with, like on the UI, it looks fine. I actually
It's-
don't mind it.
It's 2DX coded, which means it's good,
Yeah.
but it's a little bit lacking of a DDR aesthetic.
Yeah, it's not good enough to be what you need in
only
game.
images as well. That's the only
Yeah.
fucking images.
And
Where
as for
is that,
the
where's that Chris for Life tweet where he talked
Oh,
about?
I
just
in
linked
the-
it.
I
It's in the
friend-
I got
it's
it.
in the
Yeah.
friend chat.
yeah.
French, yeah.
Because he
Like-
actually goes over pretty much everything.
I'm not gonna
we're
lie.
talking about. So we'll use
I was
that as like a
laughing.
bullet point list.
The BGA thing, the BGA being like at the bottom, that was like my main thing that I was looking at. I was like, who decided to do that?
If there
so
was just
cringe,
an
like-
option to remove it, because Chris actually prefers not having BGA, but like, just make it a goddamn option.
yeah.
Just have a regular BGA for regular people and no BGA for people who don't like BGA. That's all we need.
Yeah, like make it like an opacity thing as well.
Yeah, you don't need to like put it on the side like it's a Subway Surfers video on a TikTok.
Okay, where's the? Did you find the tweet?
Yeah. It's in French chat. It's in French chat. So first
It's in
is
French.
this is I'm Chris for Life. Everybody knows Chris, our favorite Taco Bell commercial actor.
True.
Was he in a
yeah,
Taco Bell
I
commercial?
yeah,
Yeah,
he was in
yeah.
a Taco Bell commercial.
Yeah.
I love how this is number one. I love how the BGA is no longer a distraction, but the arrows still seem hard to see. I feel they should be less transparent, and maybe the background character could
No,
be darker.
send a tweet. Send a tweet. I want to read along.
Brother,
It's in
I was
French
going
chat.
to be harder. No, it's fine. He just
Which
wants to
one?
be spoon fed. It's in
No,
there's only
which
French
one?
chat. There's only
Which
one French
chat?
chat. There's only one French chat, and I'm spoon feeding you in.
Oh, it's in
the
French chat.
recording.
That's where it is.
Yeah, everybody on mic heard this several times, but it's fine, enemy. It's fine. We forgive you.
Can you
don't-
can
you
you
don't
give me
multiple
can you put
phones.
some sauce? Can you put some sauce on the spoon, please? Because I want to be fed that.
only
Taco Bell hot
sauce. Yeah, the Taco Bell hot sauce. In honor of our favorite. Oh my gosh, enemy boyfriend ASMR win.
Talk about the update. Go.
Yeah, okay. We got
Yeah,
number
alright,
two.
alright.
We got number two. I love how speed mods are no longer an issue, but since they're so granular now, we should really just be able to set high speed number and have the game auto-calculate multiply for each song internally. I found it cumbersome to manually adjust multiplier to land around the same scroll speed for every song. 100% agree. I feel like I learned about mod from like some Voltex, and I was like, oh, every game should have this. It's hard. Well, number three, it's hard to see fast slow. Maybe it should be a little bigger, a little higher. Plenty of UI UX things on this DDR
Yeah,
World.
that's been like most of the input.
Plenty of UI UX problems. I think absolutely like the what is it? The leading zeros, which is like kind of
That shit looks
aesthetically-
so bad. I'm not gonna lie. It's
It's-
so
Wait,
extra.
Wait,
the
which part
leading
was really bad?
zeros. The leading zeros on the combo
combo.
counter. So the combo counter is 4 digits always, and that just means when you start, it's 0001, and it's just
Yeah,
a
so
thing that I could
giant
see.
4-digit combo counter
Yeah,
is
yeah.
always there.
I really don't think that's a that.
Well,
would
Kind of
be,
just in the way it
that's
makes
a
it
problem.
cluttered.
It's
'Cause-
about
'cause
communicating
when you're
it at a
playing-
glance. Yeah,
When you're playing DDR, it's like kind of legitimately like when you get up to like 200-300 combo and the combo counter is getting really big, it can actually get like pretty invasive. This is on like this is on pre-world.
Mm-hmm.
It can actually get like pretty invasive in terms of like how big it looks. Especially if you didn't have the setting where you could get the notes in front of the combo counter. I think that was the setting, or maybe it's just judgments. I don't remember if it was in front of the combo counter or not. But having like that big of a combo counter is like really extra. Like no one, like so few people are getting combo of over 1,000, and there are so many songs that don't even have 1,000 notes.
Exactly.
Like why even
I got a
like,
game
just
for
do
it for
three?
the
Just
enemy.
if you're gonna do that, do 3 digits, or just do 1 digit and make it go up like normal.
It's one of those things that, again, if we lived in a world in which they had sensible customization options, maybe somebody wanted to be weird about it. But
They
for the
did add
default-
like a lot of good customization stuff, but that one seems
I like
just
that.
random to me.
I like the comment about number 7 where it's like the crowd noise got updated to include someone literally screaming.
Yeah. If
Oh,
you guys
yeah.
could change it back or get rid of crowd noise altogether. As much as I've loved announcers, I ironically never thought the crowd noise was as enjoyable.
The new,
Just, like,
the new
I really
announcer-
just like to. Sorry, I just really like to imagine someone just playing Paranoia and people are cheering like, yeah. Then you
the,
go,
the new announcer sounds like Sonic the Hedgehog. Sorry for
Yeah,
everyone who didn't hear it. You're never gonna unhear it.
You're absolutely right, and I am a Sonic adult, so I 100%
that
agree
combo
with
is
you.
as good as a chili dog. Great job.
Why was that good?
That was too good.
Why was
way
that
better than
good?
expected.
Chili dog.
Chili dog.
Yeah, that's true. That's how you do a song impression. But it seriously sounded like that. I was like, that's kind of gross.
We've
And then it's
got
like at the end. It's like at the end of the whole thing. It's like you had a lot of lates. You're too slow.
Dude, that's like what it sounds like. That's
I
like
wish.
accurate.
Yeah, I wish. What do we got? Number four, back to Chris's list here. The judgments are also hard to discern from one another. I think the color should be, or the font should be colored according to judgment, like it used to be. Yeah, that makes sense. Because nobody wants to literally read the text. You're supposed to have like context clues, right? Five, target score pacemaker should be closer to center above judgments. I felt I had to look away from arrows to look at it. There's just something where some of the more very customizable rhythm games will allow you to adjust, and that's one of the things. Like if you can't adjust that, different people have different spots where they put their eyes.
Right,
It's kind of weird.
Yeah,
Six,
yeah.
there doesn't seem to be any indication in the options menu that I'm still on mirror unless I navigate to that tab. I think turn mod should be in the first tab. There's already space for it. That's a little UX stuff, right? Like there's people who are saying, hey, I do this all the time. It should be easy to access, right? You already talked about crowd noise, so yeah, we got number 8. I like how the announcer says marvelous full combo at the results screen for MFCs, but it seems to say it only occasionally. I wish he said it every time, like the "Can I call you a dancing master?" clip from Extreme every time you got a AAA. It was very satisfying to hear. Lol.
I didn't actually
Agreed,
know
Chris.
that was like every time you got a AAA in Extreme, but it makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. A bunch of what we got number 9. A bunch of the sound effects are unpleasant, especially the sound of scrolling through the songs. It's one of those, oh, this sound kind of sounds cool, but oh, this is me extrapolating. It's almost one of those, this sound sounds cool, but they didn't think about how it would sound in like rapid succession. You know, like the
Someone
gathering
said,
effect of the sound is different than how it sounds on its own.
Someone said that the scrolling sound, I haven't heard it, but someone said that the scrolling sound sounds like a smoke alarm beeping.
God damn, yeah.
And I was like,
What?
that
Really?
sounds awful if that's true.
Yeah, concern.
Wait, hold
Only
on.
2 more.
Now I kind of want to search for it.
Yeah, you search for that because I got 2 more, and then we'll hopefully be able to find it.
I want to
Number
also
10.
just point out someone put the gameplay. What is it? You sent me the gameplay vid. It's funny that you send this because actually, Paranoia Revolution is probably one of my more favorite songs from DDR, even though I don't really play.
I
So-
love all Paranoia, so
Excellent
Revolution
choice.
is included. Yeah, excellent.
Paranoia
excellent.
Revolution is like the one song that I was attracted to.
Paranoia
and I was
Eternal
like,
is slightly
"Hey,
better, but we can agree to disagree.
I'm pretty sure it's not that Eternal's bad. I feel like, how do you not go Dirty Mix, brother?
All right, go
At least
back to
I'm
the
old
list. Sorry,
school.
go back to the list.
I'm old school. In fact, no, I'm gonna leave it for
Go
another
back to
episode.
the
We'll do a
list!
Paranoia episode another time. 10. Folder lamps being gone kinda sucks, but the new focus shift to Flare EX clears is kinda interesting. I'm interested
Yeah.
to see how the Flare rankings look once everything's filled out. Hopefully there'll be a leaderboard for it somewhere. So this is alright, I think. I'm not even at the level really to be touching cabs to know the major impact of this, but I feel like at least if you take something away, you give something that's like comparable. So I think
Yeah.
that people will
I
come
want to
around
talk
to that.
about flare gauge once you're done.
Yes, sir. Or last one here. Maybe I'm in the minority, but I think the updated song filtering is actually good. It only took me like one set to figure it out. I found it pretty cool to be able to filter by difficulty range instead of picking one at a time. 111% agree. I love sorting. I feel like I'm spoiled by 2DX because 2DX lets you sort by every aspect of the what's it called, DJ radar.
Yeah.
Stuff like if you're into BMS, I play Twilight, which is the Korean one, instead of Bidaraja. That is like, if LR2 obviously is the big thing that everybody in the BMS world knows about, and then Bidaraja is like the modern LR2 clone. There was a Korean equivalent to LR2 called Revit, and Twilight is like the modern version of Revit. And I guess it's just me being a Koreaboo, but I love that shit way more. And the filtering in Twilight is phenomenal. So I'm big on filtering. I only bring it up because shit like granular difficulty range, chef's kiss. That's what I need. I sometimes I don't want to pick
Yeah,
one
Eterna
folder.
does that really well.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
4K
as well.
client.
Eterna as well has a lot of good filtering stuff. So
Filtering.
absolutely,
Probably the best I've seen in the game.
I want to say Twilight is probably
You might be
on
right.
par,
I just
yeah.
haven't seen Twilights.
Yeah. But anywho, that's Chris's take, and as we know, the Taco Bell in his body makes him the best on the planet, and he, at the very least, is somebody who's got a lot of foot traffic, pun intended, pun very intended, always intended, a lot of foot traffic in DDR, a lot of mileage, yeah. And so, I mean, we don't listen to Chris blindly, but it does warrant paying attention to what
You
somebody.
can at least look
like
at
him-
his.
yeah.
You can look at his list and say, "Well, you've at least played the game, probably more than
Yeah.
anybody." So you know I
Yeah.
can see what you're saying. Flare gauge is
I
really interesting.
personally-
So they used flare gauge in one of the last event in A3, which was the home
Oh, yeah.
event.
Mhm.
the whole-
the very, very punishing Phoenix.
Yeah, and so it was. We talked about it, I think, once on here, but it was
Mhm.
basically Hexadiver, but for DDR. And I guess if anyone doesn't know, Hex Diver is basically like the Voltex unlock event where you have different gauges, and depending on which gauge you pick, which is like harder or easier, you unlock more of the song per attempt. Now in DDR, it's just like the normal gauges. Like you just pick, or there's also like it has like the adjusting gauge thing that Voltex has. So like it'll give you the highest possible one if you just set it to 5. Um, which I really like, and it's insane that 2DX still doesn't have that. Please add that,
Mhm.
Konami. We need gauge shift, please, because in my mind, like DDR now has like a comparable number of gauges to 2DX if you count the flare gauges like that, right? It's got like basically from assist clear, which would be like flare 1, up to like EX hard, which is like flare 5. And so I find it really I like that. I think that's kind of interesting as someone who never really went for like PFCs and MFCs because it's too hard. Fucking that shit is brutal. So I think it's interesting to see with the flare gauge. I think it'll just be a similar situation to 2DX now, where the lamps are more based on clears rather than grade. I find it interesting. I think it'll be
Yeah, I
interesting.
can see that.
I know the hardcore sweaty grinders really like the lamping folders, but I think
Yeah.
maybe
I
it's
as-
okay
wish
if
it
we
could
switch
have
it
been
over.
both. I feel like we didn't need to
It definitely
lose
could
one
have
for
been
the
both. I don't
other.
really know why they
Yeah,
got rid of it for
that's
Flare,
my
but
take. I feel, yeah.
yeah, it's
looking at
definitely a lot.
okay, so looking at I really quickly throughout this whole thing kind of watched at least like
Mhm.
one set from Oforma's
Yeah.
stream.
Yeah,
The menu like because I haven't
the
listened to it
squares,
in a
yeah.
while. The menu
Yeah, the
looks fine to
tiles.
me. Nope, I'm actually gonna go out on a limb and honestly say I'm one of the few people that are like I don't really see many problems here,
It's
except
fine.
for
I mean,
yeah,
previously
I really think
you can
it's.
see 12 songs in a single screen. Now
Let
it's
me
only
let me
like
see.
I
Hold on.
9.
think that's probably my only thing, but I like artwork of the game. I mean, of the jackets.
It,
So
it
I
is
gotta
it is
give it
much
the
bigger.
fact that
It
we
is
can
much
see the
bigger.
jacket art is kind of a
I
Yeah.
plus.
do find
I
it is an
will.
odd choice to say, yeah, fuck it, just put the art of the characters on every single screen of the
Yeah, I
UI.
was
Yeah,
hoping that was gonna be
That
Like
part is a
maybe
little. That
recognizable.
part is
little bit
definitely a
irritating
little invasive.
for like a
I think
UI thing.
the
Yeah.
I think the gray boxes, at least in the menu, are very off-putting.
yeah.
Um,
Well, there's only green
Yeah, you
allowed, so it had to be gray.
well, it's no, but I'm talking about
I
like it
see it,
is
I see it.
just straight up black. There's no real.
It's
It's
still
just
flat.
black
Mhm.
It
squares,
feels very.
black rectangles, and then
Yeah.
the names would often overlap. They're not like
Also,
resized into the boxes
Yeah.
from the
Well, that's the thing. I'm
UI.
kind of going like I think they're fine. I think they're finally reaching the limits of what they can do with this old ass hardware. Like that's the
shout
problem
out
though.
to green color scheme on gold cab looking absolutely horrible.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
I
it's
will
Absolute
say
so
worst
though.
hard to
color
see.
combo ever.
Now I will say, well, taking away the gold cap part of this. To be honest though, like the menu, the text choices, sort of like the numbering scheme and the fonts and everything. I actually personally think that this looks pretty awesome.
I
It looks
That's
fine.
me
feel
though.
the font thing, I don't have as much
My
opinion on,
photography
but
is
people
fine.
dislike it. I think some people are freaked out at like the numbers being staggered. If you look where it says like beginner, basic, difficult, yeah, they're. I don't know why people don't like that because I feel like it's legible. I think that just adds legibility. Like it's almost like if you're on a website. This might be web dev brain, right? But like if you're on a website and you have like a bunch of rows, sometimes they're like alternating white and gray. I kind of think that alternation is just like a small little aid to legibility at a glance. I don't know. That's a
Let me
super tiny
also
UX thing.
let me also put it this way as well. This is honestly one of those updates where I'm kind of like this makes DDR, at least to the normal person or to the uninitiated person, a little more attractive in my opinion, as opposed to they've seen the old DDR for so long. I'm kind of like this at least makes it kind of like a little more similar to sort of it looks more modern now. And I kind of
It
I that's
does, but
honestly
at the
that accomplishes the goal
cost.
that I wanted from this redesign.
It only does at the cost of the dancers instead of just making modern dancers. Like, I'm not gonna let go of the death of the dancers. And then that little BGA, I don't know if that's modern, buddy. Like, fucking beat
No,
Mania
not that.
1 didn't have that.
I'm talking UI appearance. I'm talking UI appearance. Take away the UIX issues. I'm talking about
Yeah,
the appearance.
sure. It is technically.
I said
Crisp, I guess is a word.
I said to someone, I was like, it does look like they tried to have a little more fun with it, and I gotta respect that because I think
Yeah.
the A series of menus are functional, if not a little sterile. Like
Yeah.
they don't really look great. They work well, but they don't really like look.
This is
It's a
basically.
menu. It's a
Is
menu,
this
you
the
know.
best is this the best glow up? No, far from it. But
I do
I
think they
think this is a
tried
glow up.
to make it look good. I
I
just
think
think
this is a glow up that they needed, though, or at least
I think the UI problems just get in the way of it a little. I think they'll fix
yeah,
them. Is my point. Like
they
I
most
think it's
likely
mostly
will.
just launch issues. I mean, they'll probably remove the leading zeros. They'll probably figure out what to do with the BGA. They'll probably drop the characters from some of the screens. Like they'll clean
Or
it up.
add more. I honestly, if we're gonna kill off selecting danceable characters, at least make art for all the characters and
Yeah,
have it be a
definitely.
customization point for people to
And
choose.
we can add gotcha to DDR, and then it'll be great.
No, back that up, back that shit up. Hold on, wait a minute.
DDR
Don't think it's
generator. Let's
DX
Oh,
and all
DDR
the
generator.
Honestly, better than what we've got currently by looking at the same, admittedly cool art of Emmy and Rage. Like,
Yeah, right.
I love the art, the details on it. There's like a little Robo 2000 on Emmy. I think Rage has like the Maniac logo, which was the old difficulty for hard. It used to be called Maniac.
Yeah, honestly, I just want to see more art of the characters in this
Yeah,
style.
there's a lot of cool shit. I think like Emmy's got the coochie cutters with the embroidered
Exactly,
paintings. Yeah, there's like all sorts of good fashion design.
It's kind of like
Yeah.
you saw the characters when they revealed the game, and they showed them on the UI, and everyone was like, "Yo, the characters look so cool!" And then when the game came out, they were like, "Oh, they're on every screen, and it's the only two characters." Like it
Yeah,
kind of
it's
like loses
overkill,
its
yeah.
luster when you're
Exactly.
only those two.
Okay, now let's push on to
Ugh.
Can we
Wow.
just do a segue into the remove songs?
Yeah, well, we could
Sure.
definitely move on into that.
yeah, we're getting pretty.
Want to
We
give
should
us
probably
the
start. We should
rundown,
actually.
Michi?
Should we also push?
Yeah.
Should we also push some of this content to maybe another discussion episode?
Yeah, absolutely, because we are
sure.
going to be doing this more frequently. That's one of the things about, oh, this is loosely structured and we don't have a guest. We want to have regularity. So this is great. If we have some leftovers, we can pick up on those next week.
So actually, to be perfectly honest, do we want to just end it here?
No,
Good.
just
Like right now?
Mitchie wanted to have a turn.
Oh well, wait. Yeah, I'm
feel
sorry.
bad
Mitch,
you
no,
said
no.
yes.
Also, the song removals are topical. You should probably do it now.
Yeah, it's very topical. If we are going to be releasing this in a week or two, this is more topical.
We might as well.
Okay, I'm gonna step away for just a real quick second because I have to go to the restroom.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the piss
Alright.
dimension as well.
Yeah, actually, do we want to take a real quick well, I'll be right back.
If this is the last topic, let's take a break quick then.
Yeah, this
let's
is
take
the
a
last
really
topic.
quick break. All right, I'll be right back.
I mean, assuming
I'm gonna
that
mute my microphone.
yeah, assuming that Enemy and Eris is already in the know, and for you guys who are currently listening are not in the know, as you know, Tuyo is a music group that has produced many songs around. Well, they mostly do original songs, and they're pretty much popular in Nico Nico Duga, and so a lot of their songs ends up being licensed for various Japanese arcade reading games from the Bemani and Gekichumai series. The problem is that it comes from one of their lead members, Mr. Pusu, who had gone into quite a bit of trouble. Uh, I'm really not sure if it's going to be even safe to talk about this on YouTube, but it's safe to say that it's really bad. That it got police involved. It got a hospitalization involved, and the PR nightmare that it had caused is potentially, well, it's not even potential. I think it's already been set in stone that Tuyu is going to be disbanding.
Yeah, it's definitely over.
Yeah, not necessarily sure if they are going to be able to come back together as a group without Pusu, but the uh, the damage control that happened afterwards was just quite insane, as I would say. Where Konami just literally pulled all of the Tuyu songs one day after Mr. Pusu's arrest. Like it's like no planning, no.
They just said we're not dealing with this, and they just removed it.
Yeah, that is a problem because I think Bemani licensed more to songs than the Performa series of games. Like
Yeah, definitely. I
Phaedra
think they had
represents
like
like
8. I want to say Voltex pulled like 8 songs.
the problem is that Pluto is like lead, like writer,
Yeah.
main composer, I'd say. And so if his involvement with To You had only been with like supporting roles as like a writer or something, then then it could be possible to just remove the songs that are with him involved. But the problem
Yeah.
is that he made
Yeah, he
he
made them.
made
He
he,
to
he
you. So
made them like all of them. So Konami did the nuke option, just removed it immediately from their games, all of Tuyut songs without any warning to the player base, and so yeah, it just feels kind of sad that all of the Tuyut songs just got removed,
yeah.
like pulled under the rug. At the very least, here what we are seeing with Sega, and I'm saying Sega because they did announce for the Geki Chumai series and Proseka at the
Yep.
same time as well that they are going to be pulling out To You songs. But the problem is that they are going to be pulling it, well, not sequentially. That's not the right word. They're pulling it not at the same time, gradually. They're going to
Mhm.
be pulling To You songs out of the games gradually. I think Proseka is going to be much more easier to deal with because I think they only have like a couple of songs for like global and Japanese servers.
Yep.
But the
I think it's
problem
2.
here, yeah, it's true. But the problem here is Tunidum because
Mhm.
Tunidum has territory battle, and that's
Yep.
an original.
Yep.
Ooh.
That is
Original
an
was for one of the
original
events.
song,
I mean, it was a big song.
and it's been crossed over into Figros and Mustache as a
Yep.
Tunidum collaboration song. So
It's fine.
the
This is their
situation.
chance to give another cool Tune of Them collaboration song as a makeup,
Well,
surely, right?
that's the thing. Even though this seems like a little bit of a focused topic, focused discussion,
Yeah.
specifically because of where Figros and Mustache comes from, mainland China,
Mm-hmm.
I'd say they don't have the obligations to remove territory battle.
It will be interesting if they keep it.
It will be interesting for them to keep it because that means that they just they just keep their end of the contract, their collaboration contract with Shunidom. And
Yeah.
unless they are either compelled to remove territory battle from the game and or Sega forces them to remove them, then yeah, we would need a replacement song.
Yeah, I do wonder.
It just
I assume that the contract probably doesn't have any clauses that are like if it gets removed from Tune of Them, you're required to remove it from your game. I feel like well, maybe I don't know anything about contract law, which I don't. But that seems like a bit of an it's like a worst case scenario. They probably didn't plan for it.
Yeah, it really is a worst case scenario. And as someone who's, well, not necessarily closely involved, but I do have some peeps in Pigeon Games, they are still currently discussing it
Yeah.
internally before they're going to be reaching out to Sega possibly to talk
I'm
about how they're going
assuming
to be dealing
Sega
with
will let
territory
them
battle.
remove it. I'm assuming that it wouldn't be considered like breach of contract. It's more the question of will they, I think.
Yeah, will they? It it could be out of respect. It could be
Yeah.
because of obligation, or they could just keep it because, well, they're not part of this.
Right, right. I think shout out a quick shout out to someone in my Discord, Alex. He sent a thing when we were talking about this in my Discord, and one of the songs that's getting removed from Tune of Them has only been in Tune of Them for 1 month.
Rip.
Oh, the one with the purple cover here, right?
It's now as far as he told me, it's now the shortest lifespan of a song from insertion to
Okay.
removal. So
Oh
and
wow.
that's part of that. So yeah, it's been definitely quite a weird week for that news. It's very interesting.
Oh, okay. All right.
Definitely like
Sorry.
unprecedented.
Were we fully into the topic already?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we've
yeah.
covered I think most of it, but
Yep, yep.
Oh shit.
yeah, it's
I
just
guess
a
the only thing I
wild
wanted to I wanted to
situation.
put in I wanted to put in my opinions on it. Uh I think the song recalls also really come down to I know people don't want the songs necessarily to be removed, but I know some people do. I think it really comes down to a demographics thing. Specifically like considering the issue what happened to you, I'm not going to rehash the whole issue, but it's basically I understand why the songs were removed, and especially in Prosekai specifically because of the major age base of Prosekai. I think it makes sense. But
Mhm.
to be honest, I'm kind of like, the songs weren't hurting anybody. That's the only thing. Is
Mm,
that kind of disappoints me, but because I'm like, at the end of the day, it is music, and
It's like a PR thing, I assume, because it's
I
just
don't
like
think
It
I
is
don't
it
think
is
it's that
it is
simple. I think you're supporting something by having something present. I think it's part of one of those things where we're not even in any way allowing. I say we. I'm not fucking Sega. They're trying to, on some level, say there's no way we can be interpreted as showing support for this thing. That's
yes,
really
yeah.
what
so
it is.
It's
dissociation basically.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
it's like they have to doing it like this is just a blunt way for them to easily say, we're not a part of this. We don't support what happened. Let's just take it out and not deal with it. Now,
Was
obviously,
the
the problem,
image was the image that you sent Michi of all these songs? These are the 2U songs.
Yeah,
yes,
these are the two songs from the Gekichumai series that are going to be removed. We
Ah,
have no
shit.
idea how they're going to be removing it. They're going to be removing from the games gradually. We just don't know when. And presumably because Thursday, Friday is usually their update date, like their update days, it should be slowly be removing from now. We just
That
there
have
was
no
tune
idea if
was
it's
it
going to
the
be
Chuni?
universal for Japanese or with global as well.
That makes me kind of sad because the Chuni song on the far right was a bop. Dang.
that is the one we were talking about. Yeah, it's an
Yeah,
Yeah,
original.
that one's a really
it's
good
an
one. That
original.
one
It's
I'm
already
also
been
Yeah, you
passed
were
into
here, enemy.
feedback and Mustache.
sorry. Sorry. Having a sandwich with hot peppers is so good, but I suffer every time.
The song I believe is the one second from the right. That one has only been in tune to them for about 1 month.
Yeah,
It's
that's
as far as I have been told, it is the new shortest, like across any game, any rhythm game. It's the new shortest time from addition to removal for any song.
yeah.
Also, there
Tragic.
was sort of a funny kind of result of this, which was the songs that got removed from Voltex. Because when a song gets removed from Voltex, if it contributes to your Vol Force, you lose the Vol Force. So there was someone that got demoted below Imperial because they had a
Oof.
What?
20.000 rating, and it was
Oof.
It's
one of
really
their
that clutch. Wow.
yeah, it was one of their top 50. So they got demoted back to Crimson 4.
That's so fucked. That's
I
so
was like,
fucked.
this is kind of a fucking funny result to this like weird situation. Like someone got demoted because of
I can just
Volt
imagine a
Forces.
Jap. I can just
Yeah,
imagine a Japanese player like kneeling down and just crying
they
because
logged
they
in
don't
and they're
have.
like, "What the fuck, man?" It's kind of wild that they wouldn't just leave it as like internally being part of your rating, but then just not showing it. No, they just
Yeah.
delete that shit, and if they delete it, it is not part of your top 50. So yeah, that was kind of a funny result of that. I don't know if Trinidad would have the same problem. It probably would. So you might get people. You might have people
Mm,
getting demoted from Rainbow for that. So
no
just
more
kind of
gay
funny, kind of
ratings.
funny result. Such a weird situation for sure. Obviously terrible, but also just like obviously
It
it
is
from
funny
the
in a way. It is. Yeah.
rhythm gamers
Yeah.
perspective, right? It's like a weird thing to see happen because it's really I can't think of a similar situation. I mean, I've been playing arcade rhythm games for almost 10 years, and I can't think of a similar removal situation.
Yeah,
I mean, in terms of weird removals, I always thought of like brain power from Voltex, but that's as weird as it really got.
that's. But the funny part is that the result of that was that brain power became incredibly popular with
Right,
everybody
right.
in
And it
rhythm games.
wasn't really like a bad situation. It was just like a weird situation. Whereas
Yeah,
this is more blatantly like, yeah, some shit did not go down. It was not good.
yeah.
It was not good.
Anyway, well, I believe that's a great place to kind of stop. Don't want to show our whole hand of all the discussion.
Mm-hmm.
I really do want to also have definitely more stuff that's just we're obviously planning on having some guests. Before we go, quick announcement. Um the BTMC episode that was live with me and Cry when we were in California, that is still being worked on. Um
Yes, it's still being
it's
worked on.
just
I'm sorry, it's
it's
taking quite a bit.
taking it is taking us a long, long, long time. There was a lot of footage because Ed accidentally recorded the whole thing in 4K. So um, it is. I think I even tweeted about it like a long time ago, back in like what was it, April, March, or something about that, about how it was like
I think
hundreds
yeah,
of
it is
gigs.
about April, and then Ed did talk about it on his stream like a day afterwards.
Yeah, so
So
we are working on it. It's just gonna take a while.
I have
Um,
no promise. Though
Now,
technically I could promise
the
it.
good news
It's-
is,
yeah.
yeah, the good news is there is nothing that is super like timely for discussion, so it's not going to be a wasted episode. It is definitely something to be on the lookout for. That also basically is my technically official face reveal. But
True.
but yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm just legitimately delaying Enemy and Cry's face reveal.
You guys literally are. You're fucking with our PR, man. Yeah. That being said, that is going to happen. That is going to happen at some point. I think some other things is, of course, keep on the lookout for obviously more content. Hopefully, we're gonna get Freya started on basically kind of advertising some of this new episode, and maybe I don't know, making some kind of putting her on Twitter a little more because obviously she's fun.
Giving her another Twitter account to shit post on.
Yeah, pretty much. Actually, if it's like Freya and Corner Cap Twitter, if she interacts with herself, that'd be very funny. That'd be extremely funny, actually. Just basically fighting herself.
I mean, not necessarily even fighting with herself. I mean, Mako had already trolled our account with liking 1,000 Gojo posts.
Yeah.
That
Man,
is
now we
true.
can't. Now we can't see them anymore.
Yeah, we can't see them anymore.
Oh my gosh, that
Y'all-
is on the list. I hate the Twitter like stuff.
Hey,
Somehow that
we
became
already-
relevant.
Y'all ready for us? Y'all ready for our account to be liking a bunch of Futanari with absolutely no context?
until
And
until
nobody's
Elon
gonna know.
forces- Until
No,
Elon
no, no.
forces you to have to get Twitter Blue.
Hide
Did
them.
you all see the? Did you all see the? Did you all see the tweet of? I think it was just this one girl that basically had a thread of like. Basically, it was like I think it was like something like basically all it shows is the like area and it says like Titty Tuesday. I assume it's a thread of basically a bunch of like boob pics. And so it's after the change happened, but it says Elon Musk liked 100 of your tweets, and I'm like, there's the reason why Twitter likes were removed. But yeah, oh my god.
Crazy.
And on that note, let's
And on that
end
note,
Perfect
see you all
note to
next
end
week.
on, yeah.
Okay.
Jesus. Okay. Well,
You're the one that brought it up.
It's perfect.
the corner cap, ladies and gentlemen, we can't get more perfect than this. All right, everybody. Well, we will see you all next week. Talk to. In the meantime, though, we will be kind of. If you ever have any sort of topics that you would like to discuss for us, tag the corner cap on Twitter. Let us know in the comments below. Also, feel free to DM us stuff on Discord if you have some sort of corner cap chat topic or something like that. Please don't send us a friend request unsolicited. We're not going to accept it. That sort of stuff. But yeah, if you have any ideas for guests or anybody that would be interested in being a part of the corner cap, like being part of an episode, then please let us know. And yeah, you can find us on Twitter, YouTube, all that stuff. All right. Any final words?
As I'm learning Japanese, I want to know what people are interested in learning from the Japanese rhythm gaming community. It'll help give me goals to like specifically target vocabulary and stuff. So if there's anything you're ever curious about, how does the Japanese scene feel? Be sure to put that down below because I'll absolutely take that into account as I'm going through my language learning journey.
It would be really nice also eventually to get to the point where eventually Eris will be fluent enough to where we can actually have Japanese artists on the show. And
It
then
is a
talk.
major goal. I am working real hard. I'll tell you more about it off mic if you want to see how close I'm getting. Yeah.
I 100% definitely, after a while, really, 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 really want to. My goal is to eventually have Red Alice on this podcast because I really think.
We're always
I
throwing
really-
names out like it's nothing.
Big goal. Wow.
No, but I'm serious where I'm like, I think he would be perfect for this podcast. Anyway,
Always throwing names out.
I don't know if that'll be cut or not. Anyway, well, thank you all for watching or listening or whatever you're doing. And have a great week. Play rhythm games. And yeah, have fun. Enjoy your summers, everybody.
Bye.
See you all next
Bye.
week. Bye.
Bye.